Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey, hey.
Finally timed the music right to our timer.
Hello.
Hell yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I was like, why am I hearing both things like at the same time? And I'm like, oh yeah, because the thing is go. That's fine. We got it. Got it. Hello, hello. Hey, Jess.
Let me just organize all of the things on my screen because there's lots of things.
Yes, organize all of the things.
I have to like stagger them so that I can easily click on if I'm like trying to look for something. I am doing well. How are you doing, Jess? What did you eat?
Something tasty, hopefully.
Yeah, I woke up thinking that today was gonna be like, boo, because I felt like I slept for 5 minutes, but I feel good now. Now that I've like woken up properly.
You just needed a snacko.
I think it was just from all the weird dreams I had. I woke up like steamed dumplings. That sounds tasty. Okay. Let me check everybody's volumes. Can you talk, Mimsy?
What? Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
I think you're good. And Finn?
Hello, hello, everybody. We are here today doing this episode. I'm very excited.
Perfect. And Steve.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, I think everyone's okay. Hello, hello. He's like this whole little thing.
All about it.
Well,
I am
yeah.
very excited as well.
Like literally role playing has been saving my life lately. So like to be honest, like this is like the most exciting moment for me during the week. So
That's fair.
Hell
That's
yes.
fair. I
my
think I'm
life
right
is
there
full,
with you.
you know.
It's definitely the highlight.
I can die happy now.
Yes.
So if you want to know a little bit more about what's going to be going down today, you can read the text RP exchanges between Finn and I. It'll explain a little bit about what's to come today. And we are going to do this episode a little bit different than we usually do. I think I'm just going to dedicate probably the whole first half to what we're doing. And before I get into the recap and everything, I'll just explain like this. But the first half of the episode, we are going to be we're gonna, instead of like role playing out the whole day, we're gonna just be like highlighting a moment, like a couple of hours of that day, so that we can get through the days. So it'll be 3 days. Like the first half will be a total of 3 days, but we're not going to role play out 3 full days because that takes way too much time.
Yeah.
We're just going to like highlight moments that are happening throughout those 3 days. And the coterie is not going to be together. They're going to be in different places. So we'll get to that goodness. And hello, Ivy and Nicola. I almost called you Nicole. Nikolai. You're not Nicole. But if you want a little context, you can... Ooh, I just dropped my little fiddle toy for the stream. Oh, no. I'm trying not to fit, like, I have to have something in my hands when I'm doing this, and I trying not to use my pen anymore because I've noticed I click it a lot, and, like, I don't realize I'm clicking it, but my mic picks it up, so I need a new, like, fiddle toy. Anyway, scroll moment. Today is a great day already. Carl's been talking about nonstop gobbies. We can hear about the Knicks Adelaide situation. So yeah, Knicks in Adelaide is happening today, and we're gonna spend a whole 3 days with Knicks in Adelaide, which is gonna be interesting. Also, those earrings were insane, right? I was like, I want these earrings. Although I can't wear earrings because that's not gonna work. But I need like a gauge version of those earrings. Could you imagine just like full diamond gauges? Oh yes,
that would be
please find them for me.
Hell
I
yeah.
feel like that would be mad expensive though, if they were real. Especially like the bigger you get, it's like, oh. But yeah, so we'll do a quick little recap of last episode. Last episode, we started out, the coterie was following up with Christopher Christofferson. And he turned out to be the bomb. And it's a joke we can't not say from now on.
That's true.
But he ended up giving the coterie some useful information, and then exploding into 1,000 pieces, and causing a lot of issues for them. Then Max got fired, rip, and Colette reached out to Alejandro and asked him to return. Then he came back and had a little reunion with our coterie. And then they went to speak with Catalina and had a little stern, scary Catalina, and then we had cute, heartwarming Catalina right afterwards, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Another thing at the beginning of the episode we had with Sparta, him and Lizzie, he asked her to be his sire, basically, which was really cute and adorable. Mm-hmm. And then he had a little racing competition with Leo, which was funny. And Leo didn't win, sadly, because Sparta's a lot faster than him. But yeah, so we had a lot of like wholesome, fun moments throughout the whole stream, and it was a good time. I think last episode was probably one of my favorite episodes so far of both seasons. I had a really great time and really enjoyed all of the different story developing elements that were happening all throughout the entire episode. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the new sort of way we're doing things, and we're doing it a lot slower pace, and the main story isn't sort of unfolding as quickly as it did last season. We're focusing more kind of on the lives of these three, and yeah. So we're going to continue that today with some shenanigans that I have planned. And yeah, I think is everybody ready?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right, perfect. So we are going to start off with the guys.
Okay.
Who are in New Orleans. So if you guys could go ahead, well, I guess technically when you wake up, you're in New Orleans too, but you haven't left yet. So, sorry, I had a moment. My brain is like, That's what's happening inside of my brain at all times, guys.
I heard
Right?
Yeah, it was circuiting for a second. Okay. Alejandro and Sparta. I'm okay. I can do this.
You can do this, Jen.
Please roll a yes. Roll things. Do things, please.
Roll the hunger die.
Yes.
I got
Success.
Okay.
Failed.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Okay. So you two wake up. Okay. And Finn, you can decide how Nyx is gonna tell them. Would she call them? Would she go over to them? Would she text them?
I would probably call
Okay.
Sparta, and I would probably like text Alejandro.
Okay, so we'll start with that. We'll start with Finn. We're gonna say that we finished up everything, because we didn't. But we
honestly,
you've already
I was
talked to
imagining
Adelaide.
our call like being something like, hey, you know, like I was thinking coming over.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. When?
Sure. See you then.
Tomorrow? Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
and
basically.
Nick's just like, okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically you've already got everything planned, and of course Ashley was there, so Ashley's hooked you up with her little private jet, and they're going to fly you to Portland in the morning the next day, which is today. So we'll just start out with you calling Sparta. So you can go ahead and do your hunger check as well, since you're awake.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll just switch to like everything that's happening with you later.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to kind of be doing is throughout this first portion, we're going to kind of just be switching back and forth between Nyx and the guys and what's going on simultaneously in different places. Perfect. All right. So you call Sparta.
Yes.
To tell him the deets.
Well, I probably will call him after he messages me, usually in the morning, like,
To go
hey,
train.
I'm up.
Yeah.
Like, let's go train. And I'm like, no, bitch. I'm not going to train.
You're like, hey, what's up?
Hey, Sparta. So no training today or for a few nights for me.
Oh, what's going on?
I'm gonna go to Portland for a few nights.
Portland? What? What's in Portland?
Somebody.
Oh, somebody, huh? Does this somebody have a name?
Like, I don't even know. Oh shit! Did you even meet Adelaide? Yeah, it's Ashley introduced her to me, and yeah, we kind of. I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna visit her. Okay, I'm just gonna go and spend some time with her.
Okay. Well, now I'm definitely curious. Are you going to tell me about it once you get back?
Yes, sure. Okay, I need to go get ready. Bye.
Have fun.
Jesus, this is gonna be so fucking good. I can't wait. Okay. She can't even talk about Adelaide. How is she gonna talk to Adelaide?
I'm
Right?
gonna die. I'm gonna prepare mentally right now. I'm gonna mute myself.
I'm that little like gif of the little thing going.
Mwahahaha.
I'm gonna enjoy this way too much. Okay. Okay, so you and you text. Do you text him, or you didn't tell him to like tell Alejandro? So I'm assuming you text him or
No,
whatever.
I'm just gonna text Alejandro too. I'm gonna be like,
Perfect.
I'm out of the city for a few nights. I already told Sparta I'll see you in like a few nights or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm assuming Colette already knows this shit because let's be real.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like literally, Colette, like probably Ashley was like a messaging Colette as like
She was on the
Nyx
phone with
was
Adelaide.
calling her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Colette, will not believe this.
I'm so excited. I wish I could go with them and like be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Oh my god.
Surprise, she shows up randomly.
Yeah, you just like look over and see Ashley like huddled in the corner of Adelaide's club, and you're like, "What are you? What?" She's dressed like in goth clothing, so she doesn't. So she looks different. Oh my god, I'm giving myself ideas. I need to slow down. Anyway,
Oh my god.
okay. So Sparta and Alejandro. Shortly after you two sort of wake up, there's a group text to everybody, even though like Colette knows that Nyx isn't gonna be there. It's still easier this way. So she texts the group and she says to like Sparta, Alejandro, I want you to follow up on that last address that they gave you. That guy that you've been like trying to find. You've sort of been like updating Colette. The first address that you went to, you didn't find anything. There was like nothing there. It was just a house. But you haven't gone to the other address. So she wants you two to sort of go and follow up with that, and see what kind of leads that you can get about this like missing dude. So that's sort of the instruction that you guys have been given. So you both received that text. Ding, from Colette.
Sparta will text Alejandro and say, let's meet up and head to this address. I'll give you the details when we meet up.
He's gonna text Sparta like, do I really have to stop playing Mortal Kombat? Come.
Sparta texts back with just a smiley face. Let's just go. I'll meet you later.
No more
Defiant
ringing card.
Alejandro already.
He just arrived. Jesus Christ, give him a day to like relax.
And I'm
That's
assuming we're
what
close
that's what
by.
you did yesterday. You relaxed. Yeah, you're not that far away from each other, because you live in the same area. So
And then Sparta will say, I'm on my way, and he'll head over to Alejandro's.
okay, so neither one of you have a car.
I got kitty form, so I'm running to him.
Okay, so you show up at his house, and what is Alejandro? Is he still inside playing until
Yep.
Sparta shows up? Nice. Okay, so you show up, and Alejandro is not outside. He's not anywhere to be seen.
Alejandro hasn't seen his cat form yet. Okay, so Sparta is going to scratch at his door in cat form.
Is my internet dying?
You
No,
look
it
fine to
looks
me.
Good to me.
So Sparta just lagged out big time for me.
Oh.
So I didn't hear what he said.
He's scratching at your door in cat form.
Yeah, people are lagging out. Something's going on. Hold on.
Ow.
I bet you can see where this is going.
Oh boy.
Is it better for you?
Excuse me.
Yeah. Now I can hear. I don't know what the hell was going on. Discord was acting up.
Okay, so Sparta is at your door in cat form, scratching on the door.
Alejandro's gonna get up.
Sparta's got his cat butt wiggle already going on at the front door. just waiting.
It's gonna. Alejandro's gonna like slowly start opening the door.
Okay.
As soon as Sparta sees that, he's going to pounce through the door, Kool-Aid Man style, on top of Alejandro.
Okay.
Alejandro's gonna erase an eyebrow.
Oh, I need.
Where the
And
fuck
he's gonna
is Elmer
lick him.
Fudd when you need him?
Hold on a sec. I forgot to get your character sheets open.
Should we roll for that since he has no idea that Sparta is a cat?
Hold on. We can roll for like his, I mean, if he like can get out of the way and shit like that, or how he's like gonna respond is really up to him. If he's gonna like try to fight this panther.
He's gonna punch it.
Okay, so Sparta roll. What did we have you roll for the jumping last time? What was it? Strength and dexterity?
Yeah, strength and dexterity.
Okay. So you can roll that, and then Alejandro roll dexterity and athletics to see if you can get out of the way fast enough.
Four successes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
Okay. He's pretty good at this pouncing thing. Okay, so when you start to like slowly open the door, when you've got it like the width of like what would be his face, he sort of like nudges it open, and in one swift movement like nudges it open and pounces on top of you. And you land on your back with a like large panther on top of you, and then the panther just licks the side of your face. And if you want to punch it, then now would be the time.
Yeah, he's gonna
punch.
go for a punch in the face.
Okay. Okay, so do a strength and a brawl. And it won't be a contested roll. You'll just kind of be there and take the...
Yeah, he wouldn't. Yeah, he's used to getting punched. He wouldn't even care.
It's like, I'm kind of used to this reaction. Everybody sort of punches me when I pounce them.
3 successes.
Okay. So right after the lick, you kind of like come up and just kind of sucker punch this cat in the side of its face. 3 successes, you're not going to take any damage. But obviously you've just gotten punched in the side of the face. So how do you react to the punch?
He'll give like a cat grin, get off of Alejandro, and change back into Sparta.
Okay. So you sort of see this cat back up and then slowly begin to transform back into Sparta. Now Sparta is standing before you as you're sort of laying down on your back on the entryway of your house.
Sparta's gonna look down and say, I remember you used to hit harder than that.
You should be happy.
And laugh.
Motherfucker, you should be happy that I know that for a fact I'm not in fucking LA right now, because I would have shot.
It's just a bullet.
Touche.
Yeah. It just starts with a bullet.
But are you surprised, man? I just turned into a fucking cat.
Well, it gives me a good guarantee to actually call you a pussy now.
Hey, I can still take you on the mat.
I can still run away from you.
Sparta laughs.
So what the hell is Colette talking about anyways?
So I've been doing some work with her, and she's been having me try to find this missing guy that nobody apparently knows anything, and nobody wants to tell her anything. And I followed up a lead with one of my cop contacts, and he gave me some addresses. First one was a bust, but there was a couple of others, and
you know what? Last time no one wanted to tell anything in this city, it turns out they wanted to take over the city.
well, that's why she's probably having us look into it. But
I mean, yeah, we could go and check it out.
thing is, I mean, I can run fast. Well, I guess you can too. We don't have a car.
Yeah, but we can't exactly use our powers in the middle of people either.
We can get to the city's limit. Maybe hire an Uber.
But...
Ooh, maybe Aubrey will let me drive her car again. You have her number.
Look. You can try, but you're gonna probably end up fighting the rest of the fucking bar if they don't kill you after what you did to her car.
By the way, Aubrey did like beat your ass, Alejandro, when you showed back up. There was a fight. There was a fight between you and her. And it was like, it started out like friendly, and then it started to like get into that brouhaha seriousness, and then like the guys kind of broke you up, and we're like, okay, like that's enough now. Typical brouhaha way.
Look,
I mean, you laughed it off in the end, but like it got into that really intense brouhaha of like, okay, like I'm serious now.
Semi-bane?
Yeah.
Semi-bane?
Yeah. Borderline.
All right, look. We got two options. Well, three options. We can either get an Uber. We can go down to the bar and see if we can borrow the car, which I highly doubt after your very bad driving last night. And the fact that you break fucking traffic laws left, right, and center. Or we could send a message to Colette and ask her if she could ask one of her people to come and leave us a car here.
I mean, if we can get to the Elysium, we can just borrow one.
True.
So why don't we just head to the Elysium and grab one then? We can get to the city limits pretty quick, and then we'll just walk to the Elysium. It shouldn't be too far.
Yeah.
I'll race you there.
You really want to race me, huh?
And with that, because he knows Alejandro's super fast, he's going to change into a cat and immediately do what Leo did and try to get a head start and run towards the city.
Okay.
All right. I have a feeling you might want a double roll for this one, Jenna, because I'm just going to put his jacket on. First thing he's going to do when he closes the door is use blink and then fleetness. So I'm a fucking
Damn, no chance. No chance of winning. Okay, so okay. Yeah, go ahead. Roll. What do
There's
you
not
roll?
even really a point.
I don't.
He's
Yeah,
like,
I
no way
mean,
Sparta's gonna
do you
win.
really need to
Okay.
roll? I don't think so. If you're using blink and fleetness, then you're not. There's no chance. I mean, if you were only using one, then yeah, maybe there might be some more room. But if you're gonna like blink and then use fleetness to run the rest of the way, then you'd probably blink past him. So yeah, you'd most definitely show up to wherever you're stopping. Like, you know, if you're because the nice thing about Bruja territory is you are like a little bit on the outskirts, like it's a little bit country, and you can get away with using your powers and stuff out here. So as soon as you sort of get close to like more congested area, you stop and you're kind of like standing there waiting for Sparta, who comes like running up, probably like a good minute after you. And then transforms back into himself.
Sparta's gonna say, "Damn, you're fast."
I mean, and I thought 4 legs were better than 2.
Fair enough.
So you
Let's
guys
head to the Elysium.
walk from there. It is a pretty decent walk. Like it's not super close, but you walk the rest of the way to the Elysium, and you go in and ask Roman for a car and grab the keys from him, and you head out on your way. So you guys are on the way to your new address, or the second address, and we're...
Wait. Does Alejandro have driving?
No, neither one of you do.
Sparta's
Nope.
driving.
Okay. And we're going to transition over to Nyx. Nyx, you have just arrived in Portland. When you spoke with Adelaide, she kind of like gave you instructions, and she's like, I'll have somebody waiting there for you, and they'll bring you to the club and blah, 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 blah. So sure enough, like after you land,
well, I mean, do I have a place where I can put my shit or what?
no,
You're
going to Adelaide's house.
Okay, fine.
So they're bringing you to Adelaide.
Like I can't even get ready after the travel. Like what?
I mean, you're on a private jet. Get ready on the private jet.
You're right. You're right.
Private jets are a totally different vibe. You're basically just in a living room. Yeah. You're like basically in a living room by yourself for however many hours it takes to fly from New Orleans to Portland. So anyways, you get off of the plane, and there's a car there waiting for you, and they sort of load up all of your bags, and you take off to go to the club to meet with Adelaide. And you when you get there, would Nyx have ever been to Portland before?
She probably did.
At some point in her life?
Like,
okay.
Human life. As she would probably have played in.
That's
Portland.
what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah.
It's kind of a popular area, especially for music and things like that. So anyway, when you get to like the section of town where her club is, it kind of like reminds you a lot of the French Quarter, just like a little bit of a different vibe. Like French Quarter is like really old, whereas like this section of Portland, it's a lot more like modern and kind of new. There's mixes of old, and you can see like old theaters and things like that. But it definitely has more of like an upscale, like modern feel than like the French Quarter does.
Okay.
And you pull up to her club, and there's lots of people outside sort of waiting to get in and things like that. And, you know, the bouncers are checking everybody at the door and all that good stuff. The driver sort of pulls up to the curb and rolls down the window and like shouts out the window to like one of the other people at the door and like waves him over. And she's like, oh, she is here to see Adelaide, so just bring her in, and Adelaide's expecting her. And they're like, okay, whatever. And she like looks in the rearview mirror, and she's like, I'll take care of all of your belongings. Like they're gonna bring your shit wherever it's supposed to be going. So the other sort of bouncer type person opens the door and kind of waits for you to get out and tells them like, you can just follow me inside. And they lead you into the club. And just to give you an example, oh shit, I'll have to do it on my phone. I always forget that if I'm going to do stuff on Discord, it's going to mess up the stream. This is the club that is inspiration for Adelaide's club. It's a club in Miami. It's fucking amazing. I'll post it in our Discord so everybody can see it. There you go. It is quite large. So like when you go in, you first kind of walk in, and to the right of you is like that back area that you're seeing in the far corner. That's like where the stage and the DJ booth is. So the DJ booth is like right there, and
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. This club in Miami is amazing. They spent like $10 million on it. I was like, what? Anyway, it's a really nice club. It's a really popular dance club in Miami. So, anyway, you walk in, and like immediately just the atmosphere is just like so energetic. Like you can't like, it just encompasses like dance club environment, you know what I mean? And the music is booming, and there's people everywhere, and lights and smoke and just everything. And you walk up, like, because you're kind of just following this person that is leading the way, and you walk up these stairs that lead up to this top section, and there's some like bouncers like blocking off this like top section. So as you're kind of like looking in and taking everything in, it seems like that this top section is likely like a VIP sort of area, because people aren't just like freely walking up here, you know, and partying. And the top section, they have like a bunch of little cubbies kind of built in, and you can look over the edge, but then you can like close the curtain, and it's like a little bit private and stuff. So this is like the VIP area. Mm-hmm. And when you get to the top of the stairs, there is like a big wide open section right at the top and center. Like if you're standing and looking out, you can see the dance floor. And you can, in this back section, there's lots of like couches and different things. There's some people mingling in there. There's a bar that's like, seems like a little bit of a private bar. And then you see a kind of, it looks like an office, I guess you could say, but it's like glass walls and door. But it's like this kind of little office tucked away in the back of this like top section. And you can see Adelaide sitting in there, and she's talking with some guy. And the guy who you were following kind of walks over to this really huge dude, like massive guy, and he whispers like something to him, and then the big huge dude like turns around and knocks on the like wall of this weird little office. It kind of looks out of place, but I'm sure she designed it so then if she had to do business, she could go in there and like talk without having to scream. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, makes sense.
So he knocks on the wall or window or whatever. I don't know what to call it. It's a wall. And she like looks over to see what's happening, and she sees him obviously first, and then she kind of like sees you and like is putting two and together like, oh, okay, like she's here. And you're kind of just watching this exchange, and she like stands up and she shakes this guy's hand, and you can tell she's kind of like wrapping up this conversation, whatever. And then the guy ends up leaving, and she sort of like walks out. The bouncer dude that brought you up here leaves immediately. And the big guy, he's just kind of like standing there awkwardly, like looking at you. He doesn't say anything. He's just standing there. This is the guy that has been reading all of your text, by the way. You just don't know that. Oh. This is Fred, which is her like personal bodyguard.
Great,
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
He's
so
probably feeling even more awkward.
Most definitely. So he's just kind of like standing there staring at you. Doesn't really have an expression on his face. He looks very like serious and intimidating. Yeah. And then Adelaide comes out, and she's like, oh, hello. How was your trip?
It was pretty fast. Never been on such a fancy private jet before.
They're pretty nice.
They are. How are you?
I'm doing all right. She's gonna look at Fred, who is the big scary man standing there awkwardly. And there's a whole bunch of people like sort of mingling in this area. I say a whole bunch, but probably like 4 or 5, which isn't a whole bunch, but you understand.
Oh yeah, Nick's also like, as soon as she's close enough, she's gonna do something like this, and she has the earrings.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has the earrings on. She's not gonna say anything, which is gonna be very like, how do you say? Intention.
Okay.
Like with intention. There's like intention. Like,
Adelaide
she's looking at her and
notices,
she's doing that,
but doesn't say anything either.
Coy? Is that what it is? It is coy.
Coy. Yeah,
is that what it means?
That could be one way of saying it, I suppose. Coy is.
I never use that word.
Quiet and reserved.
No, I don't. She is not pretending to be shy or modest.
Shy or modest. Mm.
No.
Intending to be alluring though, like I could work. I can kind of see the opposite of coy. Nikolai's like, no, change. No, I kind of get what you're saying. Like you're trying to be like really intentional of like.
Yeah, it's intentional. Like she's looking at her. She's not gonna say anything, but she's gonna do this, and she's gonna just like see if it registers.
Yeah,
we don't need to talk about it, but you know.
Yeah, no,
like
you can tell kind of by the expression on her face that she notices, but she also isn't gonna say anything.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
that's like, God damn it.
It's an equal power struggle. I mean, come on, let's be real. She's like, I pick up what you're putting down, but I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna pick it up and put it in my pocket. I'm not gonna do anything with it right now. So, after that sort of like silent exchange between you two, she's gonna look over to Fred and say, why don't you clear everybody out for the night? And he sort of like immediately lets out this super loud whistle that like doesn't seem natural, and like you don't really expect that a whistle would be heard over this like loud ass music in the club, because it is quite loud. I mean, you're right behind the DJ booth.
Yeah.
So he like lets out this loud whistle, and everybody kind of like looks over, and he's like waving his hand like, okay, like party's over kind of thing. And this seems normal to them. Like they like know what's going on.
Before,
yeah. And so some of them sort of like pick up their drinks and start kind of like making their way out of the little section in here. And like one of the females that's up there, she like comes over. I'm so excited for this girl. She comes over. Okay, do you guys remember Victoria from Bachelor? Queen Victoria?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember Victoria.
She is drunk Victoria, like that gross, sweaty girl. Drunk.
Yeah, that has kind of like the melted
makeup. Yep. And it's like she's plastered, but she's still like, she doesn't think she's plastered. And she's
still doing the most.
Yeah. That's this girl. And she like walks over to Adelaide, and she's like whiny, and she's like, Addie, you're kicking us out already? Like, we haven't even seen you hardly at all tonight. And she like gets really close to Adelaide, like that. I'm telling you, that like kind of drunk where they have like no understanding of anything around them.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now with this girl.
There's no personal space.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she gets like really close to Adelaide, and Adelaide kind of like does this quick little like side eye to you, and then like back to her, because she's kind of like, this is like one of her regulars, so she's like, yeah, like they're usually
as soon
flirty
as Nick's,
and
like,
shit.
Sees the side eye, she's like.
She's like, yeah, okay. So anyway, so the girl says that, and Adelaide's kind of like, you know, tomorrow's a new night. I've got some stuff that I've got to take care of. And she's like, I'm sure that there's lots of people out there that will be willing to show you a good time. And then the girl's kind of like, not as good as you. And she like, she's totally drunk and gross like that. Just like, they're not even like alluring because they're so like drunk, and you're just like, you're not, this isn't doing anything for me. Trying to flirt. And then after she says that, Fred just sort of like grabs her arm and like starts taking her, and she's like, bye. And he kind of like starts to drag her out, like, okay, come on, like, you're leaving, time to go. And Adelaide just kind of like laughs and is kind of like, she's probably used to this shit
with Adelaide, because like it's like she's seen it. She's seen it too.
Yeah. She's like, this is not new. Drunk people being, escorted out of her VIP area. It's not necessarily something she has never experienced. So anyway, the girl kind of like gets kind of drug away, and she's like, goodbye, and like all just fucking a mess. And once everybody is sort of like cleared out of this area, shit, I forgot something. Oh well, whatever. That's okay. Too many details. There was something that I was gonna have in your car that was gonna be explained now, but it's fine.
Appear later. It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't know, so it doesn't make a difference to you. So anyway, she sort of like turns her attention to you, and she's like, "Do you wanna drink?" And she knows that this, like, at first this is like a odd thing, because obviously she knows that vampires don't drink like beer and shit. Yeah. So she says it, but she's kind of like, it's normal to her, so she kind of like waits for that like to register in your mind of her offer of a drink.
I mean, yeah, I am a little thirsty, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I woke up thirsty today.
Okay. And like then it's starting to like make sense in her mind that you're probably not used to this kind of like what she's about to do.
Yeah, I definitely like take a minute where I was like, well, yeah, probably like she's not asking me to drink alcohol.
You want some tequila?
Now, but, yeah, exactly. But like, like, yeah, you like, she can see that like it took her a second to like understand what Adelaide was talking about.
Right, yeah. Right. So, she kind of like walks to the small little kind of bar that's back there. And what does Nyx look nervous? What does she look like? How would she be presenting herself in this moment?
Okay, so she is trying her best to keep her shit together. I can do a composure roll if you want.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
I would totally be down. Because like I feel like she would be trying her best to like maintain a sort of like composure. But
I'll have you do this, since she's
composure
somewhat of
etiquette.
Well, I was thinking etiquette at first, but because she's sort of a performer and she's kind of experienced in having to like perform in moments where she's not necessarily comfortable, why don't you go ahead and do that? Because I feel like it would like play
performance.
Yeah, I feel like it would play a little bit into that of like she's trying to perform and
yeah.
And,
she's
you know what I mean?
She's pretend she's acting.
Yeah.
She's acting
she's
like
acting.
It's totally fine. Yeah. Okay.
So composure and performance.
Okay, that's better because I have composure too. She's not.
Yeah, she's not very composed.
Oh wait, I have to like re-roll. God damn it, that was actually a good roll too. I need to roll the 2 hunger die and then.
Well, you can roll them all together. That's what I do.
Yeah, but I didn't like, I didn't like necessarily. It was like, oh yeah, these are the hunger. You know what I mean?
Oh right, because you don't have the like distinguishing.
3 successes.
3. Okay. So I would say with a 3, she is doing okay.
I'm doing all
but
right.
she's not necessarily. I guess I'll roll for Adelaide to see how much she's picking up on.
Definitely you can see that she's a lot more intentional with her like movements and like whatever she's saying. Like she's not relaxed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
She's trying to pass as like, oh yeah, this is totally fine.
Yeah, this is like I'm totally cool right now.
I'm so like relaxed right now, but she's not.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. That's fair. And I just rolled for kind of Adelaide to kind of see how much of this she's sort of picking up on. And so once Adelaide sort of gets back behind this little bar, you can see this like, it's kind of strange. It reminds you of what you would see in like a science lab. Like one of those refrigerators with like the lock keypad on it. It's kind of what it reminds you of, but it looks a little bit more classy than like what an average one in like a
sleek,
thing. Yeah.
But still like very like laboratory.
Yeah.
Vibe.
Like it's not your average refrigerator. And she sort of like walks behind the bar and puts in a little code and it opens up, and you see, as you're kind of like standing on the other side of the bar looking at it, you can see kind of their like 3 rows. It's a small little, it's not really huge. And there are bottles that are black bottles with like black labels. And on each one of them, there are different logos that are like in this like deep red. And they all have like different logos on them. And they're all like pictures of different things. And she's gonna grab one of the bottles and sort of like pour it into a glass and put it back and kind of slide it across the bar to you and lean on the bar and be like, you look a little nervous, so I think that this might help you calm down a bit. And as she says that, as she like slides the glass kind of over to you.
Well, I was trying really hard to not let that.
No, I mean, like, I could just kind of, like, you don't look comfortable, so.
It's not that I'm not comfortable, you make me nervous, so I can't, Yeah,
this'll help.
Okay. She'll take the glass.
You're like,
and
okay.
She'll definitely, like, just pound it.
Nice. Vampire roofie. Yeah, you've just been roofied.
What is in the blood?
I will let you ask that if you want to. She's not gonna explain, but she sort of just like watches you with this like. She has kind of like a sly sort of smile. Like she looks like she's fairly enjoying herself.
Her? Can I do an insight check?
Of course, insight check. Wrong game.
Insight. Insight.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's insight, right?
No, it just reminded me of D&D, where they're like, do an insight check.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do wits and insight as you're sort of like watching her as well.
2 successes.
Not
that much.
Well, it's not hard because she's not trying to hide anything. Like she's in her element. You know what I mean? Like she's not the one
she's
who
in her home. Her home and business.
Yeah, she's not the one that traveled across the country to see you and your club. So she, as you're sort of like kind of trying to take in her energy and things, she seems relaxed, she seems comfortable, and you can kind of like see kind of by the look on her face that, like I said, she is like enjoying. She's happy. She just looks happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's just like,
She's having
She's
a
cool.
good time seeing Nyx try
Yeah.
her best to not lose her shit. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Perfect.
she's enjoying this, whatever this is. So you slam back the drink.
Yeah, I do. Like,
And
I just like a shot. Yeah.
And when you taste it, you obviously it's blood. And that is very clear. Like she wouldn't give you, she's not gonna give you something that's gonna make you puke everywhere. Gross.
Obviously.
But it is blood, and you do sort of, I don't know if this actually happens, but I'm making it happen because I like it. But when you drink it, there's like this strange sensation sort of like in your mouth and on your palate, and as you sort of like taste the blood and drink it, and you can very like immediately start to kind of feel the effects of whatever is in the blood. And it reminds you of the night when you got a little educated by her about how to kind of get high and stuff, and fed off of people who were using drugs. And it kind of gives you that same kind of feeling. In it definitely, whatever she gave you is definitely not an upper. It's very much a downer to kind of like relax you and get you chilled out. And you sort of kind of feel that effect on you. And it just like the night when you fed off those people who were doing Molly, it's a strange feeling. It's like you want to sort of settle into that completely, that feeling of like that you probably remember from your human life of like being on some sort of substance. You want to kind of like settle into that fully, but you can't. It's like part of you won't really allow you to fully embrace that feeling. So you're in control, but you still have that feeling sort of bubbling in the background. But it does sort of like mellow you out a little bit and ease some of those nerves that you're having. So she's just kind of like standing there watching this all happen. And after you sort of drink the little drink she gave you, she's like, so I kind of feel like we should kind of get this out of the way now. Just because, anyway. I just want you to know that, like, I don't know what this is and what it is going to be, but I don't really do, like, exclusive. And she's just kind of, like, looking at you, like, wherever this is going, like, I'm not going to be, like, your only one.
She can see that like Nyx was
not expecting
this whatsoever. Like it's even though the drink is working, like there's like her mind, like she can probably hear the like mechanics,
gears
like the
turning.
little like gears turning, and like wait, how do I take in this? And like it takes her a second to like say anything. She's gonna look at Adelaide and be like, I don't even know what anything is, honestly.
She's gonna like laugh. Okay. she laughs because that's kind of a funny thing to say.
She's probably gonna
I don't
laugh
know what
too,
anything
because,
is.
like, I don't. It's gonna be just a quick question, just to understand what's happening. What was in this blood exactly? What type of like blood is this?
What type of blood is this? So she's gonna like kind of turn to the little bottles and she's like, this is something that I've been doing for myself for a long time, but like I've just started sort of doing it for other people as well. But basically every couple of nights I collect from certain people on different, substances. And I don't even know. Let's just say she gave you somebody that was smoking some good weed.
Fuck yeah. Fuck Yeah, okay, cool. Amazing.
The like top notch, hella good weed. That's what she gave you.
Okay,
That
stoner
person was
blood,
high on,
fantastic.
some stoner
Love
blood.
that shit.
And so she sort of just explains like these are all different like types of drinks. So then if people come to the club that are like us, we can sort of enjoy ourselves as well.
Stoner blood, I love it. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, of all the drugs that I have tried in my life, I think weed is definitely the best one. At least that was my preference. Um, but okay. I feel like if I am not, well, you are very open with me right now, and I feel like if I'm not open, you're not going to understand what's happening and why I'm acting this way. So I guess I will explain. I don't know if you know anything about me as far as like who I was in real life before I got turned. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, Ashley sort of told me a lot of
Oh,
things. And
right. I keep forgetting that Ashley was here. That I'm so sorry
yeah.
about
I
that. I
feel
was
like I
just
know a lot about you, but I have
oh,
had no conversations with you, so it's a little awkward. It's fine. It's fine. But yes, I'm aware. I'm aware
she
of.
gets very excited
She does.
and
She's a handful.
I love her, and like she's great, and but she can get very enthusiastic and act very irrational, and before I could do anything she was here. So
Kind of had a feeling that that was all her and not really you so much.
yeah, no, I honestly wasn't expecting her to actually go through with it again. I asked a few questions and she decided to go and see you instead of letting me do my own thing. So she means well, but I I don't know what I'm doing, Adelaide. I have no idea. um I had a husband when I was human. I was fairly young. I was like in my earlier 20s, but we had been together forever and I really, really loved him. And he died of brain cancer after a year. We were married and I went through a dark phase where I was being very self destructive for both my own physical well being, mental well being, but also my career. I almost threw it away, but I got better. My niece was born the same day my husband died. And you can see that she's getting a little emotional
Mm-hmm.
at that point. Um, and I don't know, I kind of, that changed everything. That changed my approach to things and made me want to get back to myself and, you know, do what I love because I loved being a performer. I loved my singing career and my acting career, and I made it. And then I was turned. I never had a relationship. I had little adventures, like, there's always fans, there's always people around. You can always, find somebody to have some fun with for a little bit, but I never felt like I wanted or was interested in even being with anybody, I guess, after my husband died. And um, then you came through, and I've always been very open with my sexuality too, but I never was interested in a woman per se, not like this. Um, and as a kindred, it's like sexuality and relationships. I was talking about this with Ashley because she's older and she has more experience with that. It just, yeah, I don't understand it. and
that's
that
fair.
is. So yeah, I don't
It's
know.
much different than being in a relationship as a human.
Yes, I think there are different things that go into it. It's different parameters. That makes sense. And I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, that I can understand where you're coming from. I think I've had a much different experience than you, so maybe it's was easier for me to understand because just to give you a little bit more of a background of myself,
Yeah, I would love to know a little bit more about you. Apparently,
yeah,
I
I
know
mean, I feel like I
plenty about
know
me.
kind of a lot about you. It's a little unfair at this point,
I mean,
but
it wouldn't surprise me if you played my stuff here too, because like I've had a lot of people remixing my music, so you
she
know.
like if she could like you can tell by the look on her face like she looks awkward because she actually like knows who you are, but she doesn't want to like be like, oh my god, I totally know who you are. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
she's
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
be really subtle. But
Uh-huh.
like obviously she learned more about you through Ashley, but like come on, she owns a dance club. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. And
I'm
like
sure she has
Eden,
heard
what
your
I was like
music.
thinking about, and she's like maybe indie pop-ish, but
Mhm.
definitely more on the pop, like it's an indie pop, I don't know, like an Ed Sheeran or something like that. Uh like she did songwriting, so like more ballady, more like
Mhm.
acoustic stuff, but like her pop songs were like hits and like,
Yeah.
bunch of remixes from a
Mhm.
bunch of DJs and shit like that.
Right,
So
right.
like that's kind of the vibe that I was imagining,
Yeah, because like a
like
lot of
having.
that kind of music, that's how they make a dance. Like there's music specifically for like the dance environment, but there also are
Yeah,
lots of remixes of popular like pop
yeah,
music,
yeah,
rap music, R and
yeah,
B, shit like that,
absolutely.
and they
Mm-hmm.
mix it to
Mm-hmm.
make it into sort of fit that environment. So yeah, so like you can kind of tell as you're kind of saying this, like the look on her face of like there's recognition in sort of her eyes and her expression of like she's like, yeah, I know who you are, but I'm not gonna like make it a big deal. You're learning very quickly that that's just not the kind of person she is. She doesn't make like a big deal about things.
Mm-hmm.
She does it in very subtle ways. She's not very vocal in that sense. And so she's kind of like yeah, I mean, I know a little bit about you, so I'll share some about my life. But basically I worked for my sire for many years as a ghoul before I was embraced. And we have a very interesting relationship, to say the least. And it very much was a romantic relationship, even when I was still human. And that was sort of my kind of introduction to this world. So I think I've experienced what relationships and romance and sexuality and all of those things are within this world from the kind of the very start. So, I don't know. It is definitely very different, and like you said, there's different things that are important and that sort of make your relationships work when you're of our kind. But I mean, I think it's just what you're looking for, you know. And the reason why I brought up, the fact of not being exclusive is because I know feelings are weird. And a lot of the times, I'm sure this has probably caught you off guard because you weren't necessarily expecting to feel this way about a person ever again. But just because, we are kindred doesn't mean we are absent of emotion. And
No, I cried plenty of times.
well, yeah, that's fair. But
She's gonna laugh. She's gonna laugh at that.
she is laughing as well. She's kind of like, okay, yeah. Then you understand emotions are very real. But what I mean is just like, I think it may have just been unexpected that you might feel these types of ways, and that's fine. And like I said, feelings get weird, and I would rather you know ahead of time than be surprised by something later and get hurt or something.
I appreciate your honesty, and I value it very highly. I like honest and direct people a lot.
Cool. Well, there's somewhere that I would like to take you. And she kind of like stands up and she walks over and grabs like this blazer. By the way she's dressed is very much a mix of like business and casual. Like she looks like a businesswoman, but she also looks like she owns a dance club, if that makes sense. Like it's very much kind of going together in the way that she's dressed. And she kind of like grabs a little blazer and pulls it on, and she's like, so shall we go?
Yeah, I'll follow you.
All right.
And Nyx is dressed. She has like a, how do you say, like a form-fitted, like long-sleeved kind of turtleneck, and then kind of like disco pants.
Nice.
So on
Vibin'.
and boots and high heels, and she's like, she can go a little bit anywhere. She could fit in a little bit of anywhere, and she does have like a little fur, like full fur.
Nice.
With
Stop,
her.
Arwen.
So she's gonna like put that back on.
I dig it. I actually have an outfit. I'll post it in the Discord. I'm gonna have our artist do Adelaide, and that's the outfit she's gonna be wearing. So that's sort of like her vibe, is very much business casual. Like she looks like she can fit into this environment. But another thing about her club is like more of an upper class kind of dance club. You know what I mean? Where like people show up in like tuxedos and shit. That's sort of the vibe of her club. So it's more of a high-end club anyway. So she really fits into that business casual, but also looks a little party-ish. So anyways, you guys go out and start heading to wherever she's taking you. And we're going to transition back over to the guys. So you guys have got your car, you're on your way, and you've arrived at the location.
I was actually going to ask first, which territory is it in, or more specifically, which is either Lizzie's, Nyx, or Sparta's house close to it?
Lizzie, Nyx, or Sparta? Nyx's house would be, because I was trying to think of where Lizzie lives because I totally blanked. It would be closer to Nyx's house.
He's definitely going to make a detour to go get
what?
His like, we got to make a stop, Alejandro. 1 second.
Okay.
He's going to go and get a change of suits because he came here in cat form. Normally Nyx would pick him up. So he's going to go get his bag of clothes from Nyx's.
Okay. So he gets changed. You guys arrive at the location. So you're at the location. And from the outside, you can see it's a 2-story house. And up on the second floor, you can sort of see through like the window, like the flashes of it. Looks like there's a TV on. I'm having flashbacks to season 1.
Well, let's see what we can find, man.
So what are we looking for, dude?
We're looking for this Blake fellow. Nobody's seen him in a while, and nobody seems to want to talk. That's pretty much as I know. This shouldn't be too complicated. We should just knock on the door. Unless you want to go through the window. You know I'm always down for that.
You knock? I thought you were more into pressing buttons and slamming in through walls.
Well, Robbie said that he's already been here and wasn't able to get any information, so it's not likely going to be dangerous. But
Find some wood because those words are famous last words from a lot of different times. We've said the same shit, and we ended up with shit.
Look, I'm with you, but he was already here once, and he just couldn't get information. So I'm thinking, good cop, bad cop.
All right. Let's go check it out.
All right. So we walk up to the door, and Sparta will kind of knock.
Okay. So you knock on the door. It takes a couple of seconds, but it eventually opens, and there's kind of a, young, like, skater-looking dude standing at the door. He's like, "Hey, what's up?"
Hey, we work with Robbie, and we just had a couple of questions for you.
Who's Robbie?
Detective Robbie.
Oh, your cops? And he
Yes.
kind of like, he has like a joint in his hand, and he kind of like drops it down by his side a little.
Sparta will reach down and pick it up and say, "Don't even worry about it. I don't even give a shit." We just
Okay,
have a
cool,
couple questions,
cool.
and he'll hand it back to him.
And he kind of like opens the door a little bit more, and he's like, "Well, I mean, you can come in, I guess."
Sparta will be like, "All right," and walk in, and gesture at Alejandro.
So what can I do for you, fellas?
We are looking for a guy named Blake, and we heard that you guys might have some kind of information.
Yeah, Blake's my roommate.
Is he here?
No, I haven't seen that bastard in like a month, and he owes me rent.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting.
When was the
little
last
annoyed.
time? When was the last time you saw him?
A month.
Well, what was he doing?
We were chilling at the house, you know, the usual.
Do you know where he might have gone? Or, I mean, is it normal for him to just disappear like this for...
No, but there was this chick that he was talking to, and I can't stand her. She's fucking annoying, but she is, I think she's from like Florida or Georgia or something. And I don't know, maybe he ran off with her or some shit, but I'm kind of fucking annoyed because he could have at least told me so I could get somebody to stay in his room.
Sparta will look at Alejandro and then look back at the guy and say, does this chick have a name?
I think her name was like, it started with an S. I don't fucking know. She was really fucking annoying. She talked a lot.
Oh, one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know one of those as well. So I feel you.
Was like, I don't know, man. I don't remember. Started with an S though. Sophie. No, that's not it. He's like kind of mumbling to himself, like saying S names, like seeing if it can kind of ring a bell, but it doesn't. Like nothing resonates with him. He's just kind of like, he also looks high as fuck, like he is stoned. So he's kind of just like, I don't fucking know what her name is.
I don't suppose you have a phone number for her.
No, I don't have her phone number. I have his phone number, but I don't think that'll do you any good. He has been answering my calls.
Yeah, I can understand that. Do you happen to know where she lives, perhaps?
No idea, man. She like showed up in town like a few weeks back, and we ran into her at a bar, and they had a thing, and I don't know, things got weird. She was kind of strange, and I think she's like religious or something. I don't fucking know. It was weird.
You don't. Can we check out this room and see maybe if we can find some way to find them?
Sure.
You mind us doing that?
I don't care. And he like kind of like points, and he's like, it's that room up there on the left, and he points upstairs.
Thanks, bro.
Before we go up to check that, you say she was religious.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I mean, he's
Did
like
she ever
trying
say
to think
what?
of how else to explain religious, like, and he's just kind of like, I don't know, it's like spiritual. I don't know. Like she like there was like this group that she followed, and I don't know. They were. I
Do
don't
you
know.
happen to know what group it was?
No, man. I avoided that chick as much as I could. She fucking annoys me.
Sparrow, let's go check the room.
All right, we're gonna go check the room.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. And he kind of like plops on the couch and takes like a big puff of his joint. So you guys go up to the room. You open the door and like go into the room, and it very much looks like a young bachelor's room. There's trash everywhere. There's clothes everywhere. Like it's just, it's a mess. Looks like a 20-something male lives here for sure.
Parta looks at Alejandro and says, "God damn, this room stinks."
What? What the fuck do you expect? It's obviously a fucking It's two guys living here. What the fuck do you expect? Fucking perfume and daisies?
My nose is a little more sensitive than yours.
Yeah, that's for sure. I know one person who would be losing her shit if she came into this room. And we both know who that would be.
Sparta looks down at his dress shoes and says, "I don't even want to step in anything. I better not get anything on this suit. Look, just because we're working doesn't mean I can't look good."
Well, sometimes you gotta get dirty when you're at work.
That's besides the point. Let's just take a look. And by the way, that religious thing, that could be an issue because we've been having
I know.
problems.
I know. Colette told me all about these little cunts again.
Let's just investigate the room.
All right. So I'll have you both roll a wits and investigation for me. As you're both sort of like looking around, picking up shit, trying to find anything that might give you a clue as to where this guy may have gone or who this chick he was involved with may have been.
Is there any laptops, anything electronic that would potentially be open?
There is a laptop that's on the bed and open, but it's been sitting there for a month, so it's dead as fuck. It's not working. But it looks like, you know how like when you just have like a notebook laptop, you just kind of like toss it on your bed and it's just sitting there open. But this guy's been missing for close to a month, so its battery has died.
4 successes.
4? Okay. What about you, Alejandro?
What did you say? I completely zoned out.
Sorry. It's wits and investigation.
Jesus Christ. Five
Okay.
successes.
Sorry. Okay, 5 successes. Those pretty good rolls. So you two are kind of looking around, trying to find things, looking in drawers, all kinds of shit like that. Eventually, there's not. I mean, it's just your usual kind of looks like a college dude. College age guy lives here. There's not really anything that sort of sticks out to you. But Alejandro, as you're sort of kind of like digging through the, excuse me, digging through the drawer, the nightstand drawer, there is a like paper that looks like it's been sort of ripped out of like some sort of little notepad or whatever, like a stationery pad, that has a phone number on it, and at the bottom of it, in the like bottom little corner, the symbol for the purist is on it.
Hey, yo, Sparta, come here.
Sparta walks up. What'd you find?
I don't know, recognize that symbol?
Sparta looks at it and says, these motherfuckers again?
So they recruited with blowjobs. Good to know.
It's a little bigger than that because Blake works with Colette, so now they may have one of us.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just so you both understand, Blake is one of Colette's ghouls. So
And
he is blood bonded to her. And this
Colette
guy has been
hasn't-
missing.
And Colette hasn't mentioned that he was going UC, has she?
What?
Say that again, you
So
kind of
they
cut
are-
out.
Yeah.
Sparta, it has, so you know who Blake is, obviously.
Would Sparta have met Blake at all? Or...
Probably briefly. I mean, you've been working with Colette. You are sort of aware of who her ghouls are. It's not like you hang out with them or anything, but you know who they are. So you would know who he is, but you're not necessarily friends with him or anything.
Yeah, he's one of Colette's ghouls. I've met him a couple times, but I don't know much about him.
Alright, listen, call Colette immediately, cause see if this guy is undercover or not.
No, he's not undercover. He just went missing. That's why she had me look into it, is because one day he just disappeared.
Okay.
I'm wondering if that number is perhaps that girl that he was talking about, the religious one.
I mean, we can search up we can probably search up the number, not 100% sure it's gonna give us anything. Also grab the laptop.
Sparta will pick it up. I could probably get in touch with one of my contacts in the police and see if they could run the number.
Yeah, they can run the number. Let's grab this laptop and find out what the fuck is inside. Cause the hard drive can tell us a lot of things, but we're gonna need a laptop without any form of Wi-Fi or internet connection into it. Pretty much a burner laptop.
Well, let's just see if there's a charger here. Sparta looks around to see if there's a charger for the laptop.
Yeah, there's a charger in the wall next to the nightstand that's plugged in, but it wasn't connected to the laptop, so it's just kind of sitting there.
He'll grab the charger too.
Perfect.
All right, let's head out and let's meet back. Let's go back to the car. I'll call one of my contacts, see if they can't run the number first before we try calling it. The last we need to do is call it, and it's a purist who's going to know us.
I mean, didn't they already have a profile on us? I'm pretty sure we're known to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably call them with a different fucking voice or some shit.
Well, you're better at talking than me, so Yeah, definitely you call them. Maybe you could riddle them or something.
I think I got a better idea than that, my friend.
All right, let's go to the car.
So you guys
As-
leave?
We walk down the stairs. Is the kid still on the couch smoking?
Yeah.
He's gonna walk over, take the joint, and he's gonna pull a Nix and force himself to try to smoke it.
Okay. And the guy kind of like his eyes get a little wide and he's like, "Okay, bro." Like and he's
And
kind
then
of
hand it
staring at
back.
you.
Said thanks for your
Are you
cooperation.
sure you're a
You
cop?
can you can do it. You just need to activate like your lungs.
Yeah, I
Yep,
mean you do
so I'll
it.
ro-
It's not that
Yeah.
big of a deal.
And he'll just say thanks for your cooperation, man.
He's like really confused. He's like, "Yeah, I don't think you're a cop, but okay, cool. Glad I could help."
And then he walks out of the house.
He kind of like, he was like laying on the couch. He kind of like sits up and he's like, "Bye." And then like plops back down on the couch. He's kind of like weird. Weird,
boy.
weird cops, but okay. Smoking weed. So you guys, what are you guys doing? You talked about so many plans, I got lost.
So we get back to the car. Let me call one of my contacts, and he's gonna take out his phone and I don't know. Would he have a go-to cop at this point that he would call?
I mean,
I don't feel he would call
would,
Lena.
It would make sense that he would call Robbie.
Okay, yeah, he'll call
because
Robbie.
He's kind of the one that you just spoke to in regards to this issue. And that's who
Okay,
Colette sort of gave you a contact with. So he
So
calls
Florida's
Robbie.
gonna call Robbie.
Okay. Robbie answers, "Hello."
Hey, I just went to one of those addresses that you gave me. We did find something pretty interesting. Looks like there might be some contact with the. Well, would Robbie have information about the purists?
You don't know.
First off, okay. Yeah, we found something interesting in a phone number. I was wondering if you could run it for me, see who it belongs to.
Yeah. No problem. Just give me the number.
Sorry, he'll give him the phone number.
Okay, so you can kind of like hear some like clickety click 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 as he's like typing on a computer. Hold on a second. I need a name. Okay. So it takes a couple of seconds, and he's like, "It looks like this phone number is registered to a Scarlett Sanchez."
Scarlett Sanchez. I don't suppose you have any information on this Scarlett. Does she have a place in the city somewhere?
There's an address here. It looks like it's an old address. Last updated was like, I don't know, looks, and he's like looking, you can tell he's like looking through the information. Last updated back in like 2016. So I don't know if it's a current address.
Can I get that address real quick?
He
You never know with these leads.
gives you the address. It is an address in Florida.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. If I need anything else, I'll get back with you.
All right, cool. Take care. He hangs up.
So that number belongs
Moving
to
forward.
a Scarlett Sanchez. Out of character, is that the same Scarlett as Nix's new friend? Did we ever get her last name?
You never got her last name. You only know her first name is Scarlett.
So, there is one Scarlett I know of we kind of ran into, and she does happen to be a purist. I never got her last name, but I do know where she's at.
All right. I wish you go and check that out. Because we need a last name.
Yeah, and she may know if there's another Scarlet within the Purists. So I think that's our best lead right now before we call this number, because we don't want to fuck that up.
Stop it. Go away. I'm gonna murder my cat.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Go away. Mommy's busy. Go away. Go
We
away.
still need, we still need a burner laptop. I'll probably drop by the Elysium and ask for one.
All right, let's stop by the Elysium first, and then we'll go talk to Scarlet. So we start heading. Sparta's driving still. He's like, "Oh, I get to drive finally."
Okay.
And we drive to the Elysium for Alejandro to get a burner laptop.
Okay. So you guys head to the Elysium, and we will transition back over to Nyx. You, Nyx, you sort of have been like walking, like wherever Adelaide is taking you is not that far away from her club, so you guys are sort of just walking there. And you notice that Fred, the big guy, is tailing you guys. So it is very clear that this guy goes everywhere with her. So he's not like right there with you guys or anything, but he is.
Yeah, but he's following.
Yeah, he is keeping a distance, but close enough just in case if he needs to be there. But he is huge, and it's not hard to miss him in a crowd. So you very much are aware of his presence, even though he's not trying to make his presence known. So anyway, you guys are sort of like walking and just kind of chit-chatting as you're walking along. And you get up to sort of like the corner of this road that you were walking down, and across the street ahead of you there is like a small little theater. And it's one of the theaters that it definitely on the outside looks older. And it has like that big cool like signs, like I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, with like the old cool like theater type signs on it. And it's got like the old school like now showing kind of thing where they put the actual little place with the name, you know what I'm trying to say, the little like plastic letters. It's super old school.
Yeah, no, I love it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it says it says tonight, and then like a little colon, and then underneath it says the Succulents. Sorry, I can't take myself seriously with this band name. And so this is kind of like across the street from you. And Adelaide, she's like, well, I know, music is kind of like your thing, being a musician and all. And I know a handful of musicians myself, and some of my friends are performing tonight, so I thought maybe we can go and catch their show, and I could introduce you to them. They are kindred as well, and they're actually toreadors like you. So, and they perform. She's like looking at your face, and she's like, I know, I'm hoping that you get a little inspiration from them. I'm sure they'll be happy to tell you their story. But let's just go in, and we can catch some of the show. I think they already started, but we'll catch some of the show, and you can talk to them after.
She's like speechless, but like you can see that there's like this glow on her face, like this excitement that like is palpable. Definitely. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, let's go.
Okay, so you guys kind of like walk across the street, and as soon as that you get up to this, even though this is kind of like it's a theater, it is kind of like a club. It's like it's a club, but it's definitely like not a dance club, but it's definitely a nightclub. The vibe in it is much different. But you can tell as soon as like she gets close and like is getting up to the door, because there are some people still like filing in, like she's immediately recognized, and they're like, oh, like Adelaide, like the people in charge. They're like, Adelaide, like, hey, and they kind of like wave her to the front of the crowd. And she is like going to kind of reach behind your back and like put her arm sort of around you and like place her hand like kind of on the small of your back, like signaling to these people like she's with me kind of thing. Because obviously she's recognized, but they don't know who you are. So she's like, she's with me. She's fine to kind of go through. And she's like ushered in with no problem. And you get in and it's a lot smaller. Like on the outside, it looks like it would be bigger than it really is. But it's kind of a really small, kind of intimate kind of feel. The vibe is completely opposite of her club. You know what I mean? Like it's super mellow
it's more
in
lounge.
here. Yeah, like a lounge type of environment. There's some people sort of standing by the stage and singing and stuff because the musicians are already performing, but mostly people are like on couches and kind of lounging with their drinks. It's not like that kind of club. So she sort of like makes her way through the area and like sits down, and there's like seems to be a private area that she just goes right to, and it's very evident that she's known in this community and this is common for her to kind of go to the other clubs and things like that. So you guys kind of like get settled and the performers are already on stage, and it's very much a like indie fuck, why are the words escaping me now? Hold on a second. Like, do you know Bon Iver?
Yeah.
Okay, it's that kind of vibe.
Love it.
Very mellow. I can't remember what his music is their music is classified. Indie. It's not indie rock. Folk. There we go. Like indie folk kind of music. And on stage there is a pianist, kind of a female playing the piano. There is a guy playing the guitar, and then there's the lead singer, and she's kind of singing. They're already sort of in the middle of their performance, but you guys kind of like settle in, and the music is super chill mode, environment super chill mode, and you guys kind of just like sit and enjoy this performance. I would say that they were when you guys showed up, they were probably like halfway through their set, so you enjoy a few of their songs, and then they kind of like wrap up and somebody else is coming out to perform, and Adelaide kind of looks over at you and she's like, you wanna go meet him? Like we can go have a chat with them backstage.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I don't even know why I'm asking you. Like, okay.
Yeah. She immediately like sits up and like
she's like, yes.
Like, yes.
Okay.
There's like almost like it's like that childlike wonder like that Adelaide can see. Like it's like it's like the kid that is going to the amusement park for the fucking first time in their life, and this is how excited they are. This is the vibe that Nyx is like exuding right now.
I love it. So she kind of gets up and leads you backstage. And it's just kind of a cute little dainty little backstage green room area. Like I said, this place is super little and cute, and it's
cozy.
Yeah. Much different than the vibe you were just in. And even your own club. Your own club is a lot different than this environment. Yeah. And so she kind of like walks into the green room, and they're kind of like in there mingling with a couple people. And the guy that was on stage, he like notices her, and he's like, "Oh, Adelaide, I'm so glad you could make it." And he kind of like comes over, and they have a little exchange and everything. And he like looks over to you, and he's like, "Oh, who's your friend?"
Hi. That was wonderful, by the way. I love your music.
Thanks. Thank you.
I'm and she's gonna look at Adelaide and be like, I'm a friend of Adelaide's. I'm just visiting Portland after a while, but she Adelaide told her that they're kindred, right? So all of them are kindred. Okay.
Yeah.
and I used to be a musician before I was embraced.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Wait, what is or was your name?
Eden.
And would she have been known like on first name? Like I guess as a fellow musician.
That's what she would like.
Okay,
like,
okay.
That's what it was. Like she was
Just
known
Eden.
as Eden.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And you kind of like see like his eyes kind of like widen, and he's like, "No shit." And he just like is looking at you like, "Wow, like holy crap." Like he immediately knows who you are as a fellow musician.
Yeah. And I haven't really done a lot of music apart from obviously I always do music. I have some stuff at my house, and I do music all the time, but I haven't performed in over 2 years. So yeah, seeing that they're kindred that do that is, I miss it.
Yeah,
I miss it
I
a
bet.
lot.
I mean, that's why we kind of, and he, like, as he's, like, talking, he's gonna, like, call over the girls, because they're kind of, like, mingling with, like, some fans and things that have been brought into the green room with them. And people sort of start to kind of, like, funnel out as they kind of realize, like, oh, let's, like, sit and have a conversation. And you guys kind of, like, settle into a little couches corner. And as he's like sort of talking, this is all happening, and he's like, yeah, that's sort of why we started performing, because we were all musicians in our previous lives, and we're not on the scale that you were, but we missed it as well. And I don't know, we make it work. It's quite tricky. We try not to gain fame. Obviously, we do have a fan base, but it can get tricky after a certain amount of time, because people start asking questions about things. But we've made it work for we've been performing for like, gosh, it's been like 20 some years now, but we make it work. It's tricky at times though. And like as you guys kind of like sit and settle down, as after he's sort of like done with his spiel, the girls introduce themselves, and one of them's like, "Hi, like I'm Ava," and the other one's like, "I'm Hazel. Nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you.
They're just kind of like,
I go by Nyx
sitting
now.
Oh, okay.
I had to take another identity.
Yeah, that's understandable. Wow, I can't imagine have been like, you were like famous.
Yeah, I was about to like definitely be up there. But I mean, yeah. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, it's a bummer, but I don't know, maybe you can make it work one day. Just wait like 50 years, all your fans will be dead. And like they say it super nonchalantly, like the guy who's speaking. Which did I say his name?
I'm not going to lie. I have thought about it. I have been trying to practice and modify my voice a little bit so it's not immediately recognizable if I sing or perform in any other place. I figured out that there's a website existing about me being alive still.
Oh.
EdenIsAlive.com.
Oh, that's fun. That's a treat.
Very fun. So, I have to do my best to disguise myself, but yeah, it's been a whole thing, and it stripped, like it strips you from like your identity in a way, because that was my life.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sounds hard.
But
sorry you had to go through that.
Okay. I mean, you gotta make it work.
True.
I don't like to linger in pain too much. I've done it, and I only self-destructed, so I learned from that, and I'm just trying to do me. I opened a nightclub in New Orleans a few weeks ago, actually, and I want to do something about clothing and fashion, but tactical fashion, I guess, if that makes sense.
Tactical fashion. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So I've been working on outfits and suits that are tactical resistant, but they actually look good.
Interesting. Okay.
And they're more practical. Yeah.
Okay.
I've had to deal with a bunch of bullshit when I was embraced. I was embraced by a complete psychotic kindred fanatic that had its own cult, and I was kind of left behind, and I was about to die the first night I was embraced.
Wow.
And so we had to deal with that and figure out how to, you know, annihilate the threat. And so yeah, I was kind of tossed in a very dangerous and violent situation as I was turned. So since then I've been training,
Creative.
very creative on like trying to like make that
Wow.
work in case it ever happens again. And I found out that every type of clothing that I found outside of the ones that I was making myself, because I love sewing and I love crafting stuff, always like that, is just, it wasn't as good. So I was like, well, maybe I can make something for us kindred. Especially I've been experimenting with different fabrics, resistant to like blades. I want to find something that might be resistant to fire.
That
Maybe.
would be handy.
Mm-hmm. And maybe like
Cool.
just do something for kindred, not necessarily for human beings, but I mean, who knows?
I like it. That's cool. I mean, I don't think, and he kind of like looks at the girls. He's like, I don't think that we would really need anything like that, but maybe you could make us, you know, some like band jackets or something that we can wear while we perform. They don't
that
need
would
to
be
be like super tactical because, you know, we don't
Oh
we
no,
don't
no,
really
I
get
do,
attacked a lot.
I do a little bit of everything.
They
This
seem
is
like
just,
they don't really relate with this like life you're explaining of like violence and action. They're like,
I just have,
we just chill.
like, I guess from what I've been told, like our clan doesn't necessarily do this, but
Yeah.
I mean, I used to love like doing a little bit of stage fighting and stuff, so you know.
I mean, we prefer, you know, a much more mellow approach to life, but everyone's different, you know.
I just know that I don't like people to have power over me, and I usually try to. And she's gonna
When
just
you
like side eye Adelaide
I was
really
gonna say when
fast.
you say that, Adelaide's gonna like chuckle a little under her butt.
Yeah, no,
looks
she's
like.
gonna purposely look at her for a second and then like go back to like,
Yep, she's
you
picking
know.
up what you're putting down. She's like.
So I try to be prepared.
Well, it sounds
Yeah.
like you're doing a pretty good job at that. So, cool.
So I don't think there's a lot of people that can, you know, fuck with me right now. Just gonna
Yeah,
look.
I certainly wouldn't want to get in a fight with you. You seem very experienced in
Well, thank
lots
you,
of
I'll take
ways. It's a little intense, but I like it.
Yeah, I've been labeled as intense.
Cool.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm glad that you know it's appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you've kind of had to be that way, so it makes sense. It's fine.
Literally that way, or I would just have died probably.
Yeah. So I'm
As
sure if we were put
brutal.
in that situation, then we probably would have. I mean, I probably would have just died, but you know. And he kind of like his voice kind of like trails off as he's like thinking about himself being
It's
in that
okay.
scenario.
You know what? We don't need to talk about this. Like, I honestly learned a lot. I feel like I'm a badass,
I'm sure you are.
and
I mean, if
I
you're
am
with
just
her,
excited.
then and he like kind of like nudges his head towards Adelaide of like, yeah, she
And Nyx is gonna, like,
confirms your badassness.
Just because he like is bringing up Adelaide. If he didn't,
No, he
like,
did.
would be
He's
right
like,
with
yeah,
it.
well, I mean, if you're with her, then yeah, I would expect you're a badass. He's just kind of like looking at you like, I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening.
Nothing is no. Yeah. No, I'm just excited. Do you guys perform only here, or like is this your place, or like do you go around and like do other things elsewhere?
We do mostly local, just to kind of keep ourselves small.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
it's
makes
usually
sense.
local shows. This is kind of like our favorite venue, so we perform here a
I
lot.
can
We've
see why.
performed at Adelaide's club. It was a little bit of a different vibe that night, but it's all in good fun. We have a DJ friend, and he sort of mixed with us, and we did like a live performance thing. It was really cool. But yeah, I know most of our performing is done locally. We try not to venture too far away, just for our own protection, you know.
Well,
But yeah, it works. We're kind of locally known, but not anything sort of out of Portland.
I would love to like sing with you guys.
Yeah, I mean that.
Like,
I think that would be a great time.
not as like a permanent member, but just like maybe
No, I know what you
a
mean.
guest appearance
Yeah. If you're
for a few
ever
songs.
if you're ever down for that, we would love to have you join us.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
So you guys sort of sit and for a few hours, like have just cool conversations, kind of connecting with these toreadors. The girls kind of start chiming in, but you do get the sense. I don't think I said his name, but his name is Lewis.
Okay.
He does a lot of the talking. Like the girls kind of just sit there. They seem like kind of shy and timid, which you weren't necessarily expecting, considering that they were toreadors, but.
Yeah.
He seems to be the most outgoing out of the three, and you can tell like in these scenarios that he kind of does a lot of the talking. They sort of warm
He's a
up to
front
you.
man.
Yeah. They sort of kind of warm up to you after a couple of hours of talking and start talking a little bit more. But this kind of goes on for a few hours. They like exchange numbers with you and everything, and they say like, oh yeah, we'd love to see you again, like if you ever want to perform with us or do something, just let us know. And they really actually have asked you like, will you make us some like jackets and stuff for a section of that
absolutely.
talking was just talking about
Just
clothes, and
give
and
me
Adelaide
an
just kind of
address.
like
Just give me an
Toreadors
address
are in
and I'll-
Toreador mode now. Talking about fashion.
Oh yeah, no, and I probably would have had pictures of like the things that I did too. So like I would just like be scrolling over and being like, kind of what vibe are we
Portfolio.
going for here?
Yeah, so they
Right.
like give you all this information. You have this
all
whole
the
big
details.
exchange,
Yes,
and
perfect.
it's kind of like you've become instant friends with them. Like that's how like you just immediately kind of gel with them, you know. And they're really easy to get along with. They're not problematic in any way. So that sort of goes on for a few hours, and then you end up leaving and going back to Adelaide's place. And just for the sake of time, we'll just speed through this. But you go back with Adelaide to her house, and her house is quite nice. It is
Wasn't expecting anything less.
yeah. It's very modern and chic, and it's got that like modern minimalist touch to it, where it's just big and grand, and there's not much stuff, which makes it feel even more big and grand. Very elegant and nice. So you sort of go back with her to get prepared for, you know, daytime and shit like that. And all your stuff is there just like it was promised. And you guys get ready for the night and whatever and retreat for the night. We're going to transition back over to the guys for the rest of their night. You were heading to the Elysium. So you arrive to Elysium, you grab whatever equipment you need. And where were you heading next, or what were you doing
Uh,
next?
We were gonna go talk to Scarlet.
Scarlet. Okay, you don't know where Scarlet is. The only thing that you have been told is that the only thing you know, the only person who knows where Scarlet is Nyx, unless Nyx told you. Because Nyx had a conversation with Colette and they talked in more detail. The only thing you know is that Lena took her. But you don't necessarily know where she's at, or if she's... I mean, you know she's alive, but you don't know where she's at. Because she is sort
Okay.
of being held at kind of a secret location. So to
Then
speak.
Sparta will call while Alejandro's getting the laptop from the Elysium. Sparta will call Colette.
Okay. All right. So she answers, "Hey, what's up?"
Hey, I think we found something. It looks like those damn purists are at it again. It looks like Blake might have gotten involved with one. We found a number that is tied to a Scarlet Sanchez, and we were thinking of talking to the Scarlet that we met the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And I need a location so I can go ask her about it, see if it's her or maybe there's another Scarlet within the Purists.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's her name. But yeah, you definitely need to talk with her a little bit more. But I will have. Fuck, I forgot that lady's name. Susan. I will have Susan meet you at a location that you can meet with Scarlet and have a chat. I think she's kind of up and moving and doing better by now. But I'll have Susan meet you somewhere, and I'll just text you the address.
Perfect, and I'll keep you updated with whatever we find.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Bye.
See ya.
And then hangs up.
Couple seconds later, you get a text with an address that's close by. And she'll obviously pass word on to Susan to like, hey, bring Scarlet here. Because Scarlet now, it's been a few days, I think, by this point, and she's sort of recovered and she's doing better. They have just been kind of monitoring her because she obviously, my brain is
She's
okay,
a
I
person of
promise.
interest.
She took a lot of damage, and then she had major surgery to kind of fix everything, so she's kind of been in recovery for the last few days, and they've been monitoring her and keeping her safe. So you get that address and start to head to that location. You guys arrive. Where she is in the French, or not the French Quarter, in the Ventru territory. It's just kind of up on the edge of it. And it seems like some type of facility. It doesn't look like, it's not like a residential house or anything. It looks kind of like a low-key, like clinic, so to speak. And you can see like a car parked out front and the lights inside are on.
Well, Alejandro, I think that's them. You are going to love Scarlet. She's right up your alley. You're going to get along perfect.
You say that, but the sarcasm in your voice makes me feel otherwise.
And Sparta just has a huge grin on his face.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be. Let's just get her name and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and Colette said that this is probably the Scarlet Sanchez. So she might actually know what happened to him or where we might be able to go look next.
All right.
Sparta gets out of the car and we start walking towards the other car.
Okay. Oh, they're not in the car. They're inside the facility. Yeah.
Okay.
You can like see the lights are on, and it's kind of just a small little like clinic looking thing. So it would be safe to go inside there. So you guys head in, and there's kind of like a little lobby area. Once you get in, you can like definitely see that it's some sort of medical facility. And you can kind of like hear some chatter in the back. And when you opened the door, there was like that like ding dong like little sound that some businesses have. And you can hear a voice from the back, and Susan's like, "We're back here." And you guys make your way into the back, and she's got Scarlett sort of like sitting on one of the beds, and she's like, I figured, two birds, one stone. I needed to take a look at her wounds or whatever, incision sites. She sounds super medical when she talks. And she's kind of like dressing her wounds and things like that. But Scarlett's sitting there, and you can tell like she looks really weak still. Like she doesn't look good necessarily. She doesn't look like, woohoo, like she was the first time you met her. You can tell she very much has been through a lot in the last few nights, and she's still sort of recovering and is a little bit weak. She kind of like looks over, and she recognizes you, and she smiles, and she's like, "Hi." She kind of like says, and even like her voice sounds like a little bit weak when she says hello to you.
Sparta will say, "Hey, Scarlett, how's the recovery?"
Well, I'm alive, so that is a good thing. And they got that weird thing out of my armpit. And she just
Glad
like
to hear it.
really weakly like, yeah.
Sparta will give her a
She's
thumbs
giving
up.
you
Glad to
the
hear it.
Scarlet vibe, but it's kind of like a doped up, weakened version of the Scarlet vibe that you got the first night you met her.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. We just have a few questions for you. We came across something interesting.
Okay. Go.
So
hit me. Don't hit me.
Do you?
And she like looks really nervous for a second, like.
Looks like you've already been hit enough.
Yeah.
You're safe.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
So, do you happen to know a Blake?
Blake. And she just like is like she kind of zones out for a little bit longer than like usual. And she's like, Blake, I think I met a Blake. I mean, I know there's a lot. When would I have met this Blake? Because, I went to elementary school with a guy named Blake.
It was probably about a month ago.
Oh, okay. Not that.
And he went
Not like
missing
all
around
of the
then.
Blakes. And she kind of like rubs her temple, and she's like, not all of the Blakes I know in my life. Okay. 1 month ago, Blake. Yeah, I think I met a guy named Blake I think it was at a bar or something. We hung out a few times. His roommate smoked a lot of weed.
Yes, that's the one we're looking for. We actually found this phone number at his house, and he'll actually show her the paper. Is that your phone
She
number?
kind of like, she's like squinting, like, yeah, that's my phone number.
See, he's been missing for a while, and we can't seem to find him. Do you know where he might have gone? He'll look at show her the Purist symbol on the paper and say, "We think he might be involved with that, with the group that you were formerly a part of."
I mean, there is no telling. He could be anywhere. That's a hard question to answer. And she just kind of like stares in her mind. You can tell she's almost going into like that mode of questioning she was in with you, but like her mind is not sharp enough right now for her to like be like she was. But she's like kind of doing it silently in her head. And she's just zoned out.
Sparta just says, "Take your time. We're not in a hurry."
Wait, what? Oh, what was the question? I got distracted.
Do you know where?
Oh,
might have
right.
gone.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gone a lot of places in the world. The world's a big place, you know. But I don't. I mean, I don't know. That's hard.
Well,
And
given
she
who
zones
he
out
is,
again.
Sparta will say, well, given who he is, he likely wasn't taken by choice. So, is there anywhere your former colleagues might have taken him to keep him or question him?
Yeah.
Here within the city.
And you can kind of see her expression sort of like immediately changes. And it looks like she's reliving something in her mind. And like by the look on her face. And she looks like scared. Like there's like fear behind the like look and like anxiety. But you can tell that she's not sedated, obviously, because she is awake, but she's on a lot of drugs right now. And she probably would be reacting in a little bit more of a panicked way. Just you can like look on her face, you can kind of like see that panic and fear settling in on her face, but she isn't sort of in her right mind to kind of react to it fully, and she's sort of just like lost in whatever is happening in her mind as you like ask that question of like, is there somewhere they would take him? And she kind of just like is reliving something in her mind, and that's sort of just what she's doing. She's kind of just like staring down, and that look kind of washes over her face.
Sparta will put his hand on her shoulder and says, "It's all right."
She kind of like jumps and like looks at you, like when you touch her, she's like, and she kind of realizes like, oh, I'm supposed to be answering a question. That's right. And it takes her several minutes of trying to work through everything that she's feeling, and also with this really like foggy, drugged up mind of hers that she has right now. And like after a couple of minutes, she's like, yeah, there's this place that sometimes Charlie, what was his name? Charlie would take people and question them. And she like says it like he tortured them. And I don't know, I mean, maybe they took him there. I don't know.
Do you have an address by chance? Anything will help.
Oh, would she remember? I'm gonna roll for it. She's fucking doped.
You guys, I
rolled a 10. Okay, she remembers. She's good when she's high. She's very smart. She has a high intelligence. It does take a long while for her mind to. You can tell she's distracted. She's distracted by whatever's going on in her mind, but she's also just drugged up and weak. And she kind of is sorting through all of her thoughts, and then eventually, she like reaches for like a paper or something that's nearby and scribbles an address on it and hands it to you. And she's like, that's where he would take people and he would do those things.
I know this must have been hard. I really appreciate it. And he'll look at Alejandro and say, do you have any questions that you can think of?
actually.
She's
I got a
gonna
question for the
interrupt you
doctor.
in the middle of your sentence. She's gonna be like, where's the nice lady?
She had to leave. She had to go do some things today, but she's excited to see you again.
Oh, I wish she was here. And she seems really pathetic. Like, honestly, it's hard to not feel sorry for her. Anyway, continue, Alejandro. She's being quiet now after she very rudely interrupted you.
Alejandro's gotta look at the doctor and ask if those two could speak in private for like a moment.
With the doctor? Yeah.
Mhm.
She's like, yeah, sure. And she kind of like rocks a little bit closer to like the front of the little facility clinic thing. And Scarlett seems
so-
oblivious, so she's just, you know. Even if you did have a conversation right next to her, a lot of it probably wouldn't even register in her mind.
So, Doctor, where was this tracker implanted?
It seems like the where they injected it was sort of in the middle of her armpit, and it went sort of like up at an angle, and it was sitting like right underneath her collarbone.
So it was injected. It wasn't surgically.
No,
placed?
I'm not sure what type of device they may have used, but it does seem that it was like purposely placed in that specific, but they didn't necessarily open her up. There was something that they inserted, and
So there wasn't any scarification or anything like that. That
no, the only scar was just the little tiny kind of injection spot. There was like a little circle. But other than that, no. Whatever they're using and whoever they're using to do it seems to be knowledgeable in the medical field to be able to kind of insert it without damaging anything or, putting it in any type of dangerous spot. It was sort of embedded into like the muscle, and yeah. But it was a hard kind of location to get to. It wasn't easy to take it out.
Okay. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, no problem. And she's gonna kind of like look at you guys, and she's like, obviously she is obviously doing better, but she's still very much recovering. I don't want to stress her out too much. And
Completely understand.
She does
we appreciate
seem
the time.
to have some traces of PTSD from the things that she's experienced with these people, especially this attack. And we've kind of been dealing with that and working through that, but yeah, I mean, I don't mind allowing you guys to ask a few more questions, but I definitely don't want her to get too stressed out.
I think we got what we needed.
We
let her
appreciate
rest
your
up
time.
properly.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
And he'll look at Scarlett and say, I know Nix is looking forward to seeing you again, so get well soon. And we'll talk to you later.
She's just gonna kind of be like, do a little like fire, like guns, like hand guns, and like, yeah.
Sparta chuckles and says, let's go, Alejandro.
All right,
Well,
so you guys head out.
Yep.
They kind of like close up, and the doctor goes back and finishes attending to her and getting ready to take her back to wherever she was at.
Well, Alejandro, I mean, we have an address. This one's probably going to be dangerous, so we should probably be careful.
Yeah, well, right now we're seeing a 50-50, if not 60-40 chance of Blake being dead.
Good chance of it, but we still have to confirm it.
So, hold on, let me give Colette a call.
Ring, ring. Yo,
what up? So, we found out something very interesting.
Okay.
Apparently, the Scarlet chick was the one we was looking for. But apparently, these purists take people to places and, well, more likely torture them. So,
Fun.
without going all Ridley, we're pretty much gonna go and investigate it, but
Wow, you're learning.
chances are, nah, shut up. But you know that. But we know by experience, both you and me know that if someone gets tortured, the chances are they're making it alive is slim to none.
Yes, that is indeed correct.
So we're gonna check this place out. Could you possibly? Do you still have contact with the crow lady?
Yeah, contact, sure. you know, it's not like she uses a
Or-
cell phone, but
Exactly.
I can get in contact with her if need be.
Yeah, just give me those freaking eye drops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
those.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
No problem.
Yeah, so we're gonna go and check that place out, and then see what we find. But I thought I'd give you a call, tell you what we got, and prepare you that this guy might be that.
Alrighty. Well, it might take me a few hours to get that because, you know, I don't know if you know, but birds are a little bit unreliable in their sense of communication. I don't want to talk about it. It's a sore subject. But,
Bird?
nope, we don't need stop.
Well,
So
Sparta, you better tell me about the birds afterwards.
I'll work on getting those for you tonight, and I'll drop them off at the Elysium. And why don't you guys go check out this place tomorrow? So then you're better prepared, just in case.
Before they hang up, Colette is gonna hear Sparta in the driver's seat just say "caca."
She's gonna hang up. Literally, as soon as you caw, she just hangs up immediately.
All right, you gotta tell me, Sparta, what the fuck
Triggered.
is up with Colette and birds?
Oh my God, Alejandro, it was great. Annoying, but great. So this last dude that we had, this dude only wanted to communicate by pigeon. And apparently, it always shit all over Colette and Ashley's house. It was
Not gonna
great.
lie, you know what? I would love to see Ashley's face when that shit happened because I would be rolling on the fucking floor laughing my ass off.
Oh, the stories Nick's told me. Colette was not happy.
I mean, I don't know. Pigeons seem like an interesting way to communicate, I guess. I mean, let's be fair. If the cell phone tower would have been knocked out, that would be a good way to fucking communicate.
Yeah, but one of them just kept getting lost all the time. Super annoying.
Yeah, I know. You know, you remind me of this. Talking about being lost all the time. You remind me of this guy that I know who's actually a gangrel but acts like a toreador. Anyways, I thought nothing. Yeah, there was this guy that I knew that hanged out back in LA that used to. He was a gangrel, but he acted like a toreador. He was always so spiffy, always trying to look good, always trying to be that little fucking. I don't know. He seemed very confused at who he was. But anyways, I got my fucking eye drops for tomorrow. Let's go and check it out and arm up.
All right, let's go. And it sounds like that guy was pretty cool to me.
Nah, he was a pain in my ass actually.
Okay.
One of these days, Alejandro. One of these days.
But then again, he decided to do something to allow me to call him a pussy.
You know, it's been a while since we sparred. We really should do that again sometime.
All right, so you guys go home for the night, or wherever you're planning on going for the rest of the night, because Colette basically was like, "Hey, don't go check that out tonight. I want you to go tomorrow when you're better prepared," sort of thing. And you guys retreat to do whatever it is you're going
Mortal
to do.
Kombat.
Wow. Wow, that was planned. Okay, so the guys retreat to play Mortal Kombat for the rest of the night, and so long that Sparta falls asleep on the couch at Alejandro's house. Cute. Anyway, before we transition into the next night, we're going to take a quick little break. Alrighty, we are back.
Let's go.
Excuse me. Also, I've decided that obviously we finished one night in half of the episode, so my original plan is out the window. We're just gonna chill and ride the wave.
There we go.
Because I feel like we're getting some like main story progression with the guys, you know, and then we're getting some different vibes with Nyx and
Very different vibes.
yeah,
Yep.
very different
It works,
things are
though.
happening for her.
Yeah, I'm literally having like a fun vacay. and,
Yeah,
you guys
like
are-
she's like literally on vacation. You guys are like home working, doing all the work.
She's gonna come back and the case is solved.
Yeah.
Purists are all gone.
We've eliminated the purist in the 3 days you were gone. Welcome
No,
back.
she's gonna come back and both of them are dead.
It's like, oh, Nix, you remember how you told me not to push the button? Well, I killed everybody. So.
Oops.
And she's gonna be like, okay, sure,
Cool.
why not?
I have a feeling that when Nyx gets back, she's gonna be in that like post-vacation mindset of like, cool. I just had like a really great time and I'm happy, and whatever negativity you're trying to bring my way is not going to stick.
Yeah, it's not gonna vibe.
You know
I'm
how
just
like
gonna be like,
that first like day after vacations, like you have this like after vacation high of just like, that was so great.
yeah,
Right?
And then like reality sets in and you're like, oh fuck, I have to go to work
Fuck, now
tomorrow.
I gotta work.
Yeah.
it's like, oop.
It lasts like
It's
that
my
one
reality.
day. And then it's over. And you're like,
Yep.
damn it. Back to real life.
My high is over. I need more.
Literally, because, you know, Adelaide's probably been getting you high through all these bottles she has for the last 3 nights. Just take your pick. How do you want to feel tonight?
Oh, dude, yeah, and like we definitely talked about that because I wanted to ask, obviously, the details
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, for Nick's mind is like it's perfect. I can have like whatever drink, like I can actually have a drink and like do whatever.
Yeah, well, we
We'll,
can.
like, the vibe.
We'll hop back in and I'll just give you just a little, because I had already sort of planned on it coming up in some sort of conversation, but basically she explains to you that like it's actually like a business she's working on, and she's gonna like turn it into a business, and it obviously it's all with kindred, not humans.
Obviously, yeah.
But basically she has like this really small little list of clientele right now. Most of them are actually Ventru because of their particular tastes. Sometimes it
Makes
can be
sense.
hard for them. So basically what they do is it's like a bottle service, and they put in orders with her. They tell her what their preferences are. Or if it's not a Ventru that has like a particular preference, it's just somebody that wants something like, oh, I want, something, I want somebody on this substance or whatever they're sort of looking for. And she's kind of like turned it into like a little mini business that she's doing. And then she kind of delivers it to them once she has it, and it's kind of like this little business she's started. She started doing it just for herself because it was like more convenient. And she like explained to you like she's like, as you're, I'm assuming like after you guys left the place, then you guys kind of went back to her place and had probably a couple of hours alone to kind of just talk and things. And you're both you were definitely more comfortable at this point because you had spent the whole night, and you're kind of used to her being there now. And she was explaining like, oh, a lot of my friends, they're more of like upper class type of people. A lot of her friends are like Ventrus themselves, or very like, business people, CEO people, political people. They're like hoity-toity, high class people. And same with a lot of like the Toreadors she knows. She knows a lot of Toreadors as well. And she's like, they throw parties and things, and there's just a certain aesthetic that you want. And sometimes it's nice to just meet that aesthetic of like, if you had a dinner party like you would have had when you were a human. You know, you have drinks, you have champagne, you have things like that. So she's like, it's kind of just like an aesthetic thing, and this is a way for us to kind of fulfill that. And being like a high class person herself, like she understands like that thought process of like meeting the certain aesthetic to certain parties and things. So that's why she started like doing it with friends, and they became interested, and they're like, this is perfect. And so it's just like this little thing she's doing. And I'm actually going to talk to Cry about, like, making this an actual business for her. Like, I want to turn it into, like, an actual business that she starts underground with the Kindred and stuff. Because she has so many connections in, like, the Kindred Society. It kind of makes sense. And I feel like it would be fitting, especially for, like, high-class Kindred. Like, they probably
100%.
would be interested in that.
100%.
Like, even, like, Ashley. I can totally see Ashley wanting that at her little parties that she throws. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just something, like, I think Penelope touched on it that first night when you guys went to their house.
Yeah,
and somebody asked about the bar. Was it you, Nix?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And she was like, it's just like,
bar?
It's just like for aesthetics, you know, like,
yeah,
we want to feel like we're having a little house party and dinner party thing, you know? Like, obviously we know
like
we
a
can't eat
social
and
thing.
drink. Yeah, but it just adds to, like, the environment. So I definitely feel like it would be super popular among, like, high-class Kindred. So anyway, she explained all of that to you. All right, so we're going to start on the next night, and we're going to start with Nyx. So I'll have you go ahead and roll for your hunger. As if hunger is a problem with Adelaide by your side. Like, geez. It seems really easy to feed around her. Whether it's feed off of a person or just, you know, grab a drink.
Yep.
It's
there's
very
plenty
accessible.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, no, I passed anyway. I'm good.
Okay.
Today.
So you, this is something new for you because you've never really spent, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe Nyx would have had this experience of, like, actually spending the night with another Kindred, like sleeping in the same room / bed. Like, you've been in the same house as other Kindred, but you've never like quite had this experience.
No.
So also, I don't know if it works this way, but this is how it makes sense to me. I'm doing the whole, like, you wake up later, like the longer you've been a Kindred, then you wake up later. It just makes sense to me that way. So even though you're a younger generation than her, like, you've only been a vampire for 2 years, so you haven't, like, slipped away from human life long enough to be affected in that way. That's sort of how it makes sense in my mind. So that's how we're gonna do it. So you wake up suddenly and refreshed as always. Like, you've become very familiar with this over the last few years.
This feeling, I'm not feeling groggy at all. Just like, we are awake.
Just, like, ready to go.
Let's do it.
And that's when you notice that Adelaide's not awake. And I don't know, would she know that older Kindred wake up later? Would she know? Oh, I guess maybe she would have experienced that a little bit with Max.
I would probably have experienced that with Max, yeah. Because,
and
like,
maybe
we had
Ashley
to deal with
here
the
and there.
Fact, with the fact that, like, we wouldn't see him, like, especially me and Sparta, because,
with
like,
Lizzie.
we're like, that we usually use that hour and a half to train because
he
Max
was still
asleep.
sleeping. Yeah. Okay. So you're, like, familiar with it, but you are kind of like, oh, like, what do I do now?
I guess I've never seen it. I knew about it.
But you're, like, firsthand experiencing it, like, she's very much still in, like, that slumber that you guys go into. And it's funny because, like, when you look at her, because you've also never seen another sleeping Kindred. Yeah. So, that's like, you look at her and it's, like, kind of strange because it just looks like she's sleeping. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know that it's just, like, this weird thing that happens to you guys and you have no control over it and you can't help it. Which you can actually rouse your blood and wake up during the day, but it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And inconvenient. But so it's kind of eerie and like a little bit like kind of weird to see because she looks like peaceful and just like she's sleeping, but it's like, you know, she's like trapped in this weird like sleep.
Almost like torpor, yeah.
Yeah. So she's just kind of like laying there sleeping, and now you're just in her house and you're just kind of like, oh,
Well,
it's kind of like that awkward, what I'm envisioning how I would feel. You can tell me however Nyx is going to feel. How I would feel in this situation. Like if I was Nyx and I'm like with this new person and we just spent like our first night together. And it's like when you don't want to be the first one awake because then it's like awkward. You're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you're in their
Yeah.
house and it's just like,
Yeah, and you're like,
do I stay
should
in
I
the bed? Do I
call
pretend
an
like I'm sleeping
Uber?
still? Yeah, it's like that
Like-
awkward, like, what am I supposed to do now?
do...
So yeah,
Um,
you can tell me what Nyx is feeling
I mean,
and what she's doing.
It definitely is. It like I guess it takes her a second to be like, oh yeah. This must be what Max was like doing, like was experiencing and stuff.
Mhm.
So like, I guess like she would just, honestly, she would probably just wake up and do her own routine, like as usual. Like she would get up, go take a shower, put her makeup on, and like just which would take her like about an hour and some change, to complete. So it would probably like give enough time for Adelaide to like finally wake up from her slumber. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
wake up,
so
bitch.
And I'm like she always kind of like sings around the house, like whenever she's awake, like she's always like kind of humming something. So like whenever Adelaide wakes up, she's probably gonna be in the bathroom, in her probably huge, beautiful minimum like bathroom with big
Floor to
like,
ceiling
I don't know.
mirrors.
Yeah, floor to
Over the
ceiling
way over the
mirrors.
top. Jacuzzi bathtub. One of those like showers that it's like the only thing that you see is like the huge rain. You know, like those really oversized, it's supposed to be like if you're showering like kind of in the rain. What are they called? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you
But they're
mean.
like really
I know
huge.
which- yeah.
It's like a big circle and they're amazing. I've actually been to an Airbnb that had one and I'm like, I want one of these in my life.
Yeah.
But it's just like a massive shower. It's like
I
wait,
know.
it's
Yeah,
like
I know
7
what you
people
mean.
could fit into the shower. I was like, why? Why do you need a shower that
Right,
big?
Perfect.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, it's all of that plus more. You're very much
so-
loving this house because it is taking all of the things for you.
everything, like whenever Ashley, like she would think what Ashley said,
Yeah.
like about Colette, about
Yeah.
dating the wrong person. And I'm like, actually, this is like, yes, this is perfect. I feel
Yeah.
like a princess. Like, she loves it.
Yeah, and it's
She's like really happy and content right now.
it's a unique experience for Nyx because while she does know other Ventrus, because obviously like Catalina is a Ventru, and Lindsay was a Ventru, she's not like close to them. She hasn't ever really like been to their houses, and obviously the vibe of New Orleans is much different than the vibe
Yeah.
of Portland.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like she's very much realizing that like Ventrus like nice things too. Like it might not be a part of their bane and like their DNA like a Toreador, but a lot of Ventrus are usually high class people, you know? They aren't all like that obviously, but most of them are. They're the business people, they're the politicians, they're high class people.
Well, I mean, I
So-
guess like we've been to the outside, like we've seen the Catalina's mansion.
Yeah, which was
Right.
big and glorious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We haven't been inside, but like just seeing it outside, like you
Mhm.
can just imagine how fucking majestic it is
Yeah.
inside, no matter what.
Um So yeah, you're very much loving it. You're feeling in your element. You're like, your Bane is actually gonna come into play a little bit here. Like you are like, there are moments where you're like getting lost and just like kind of the aesthetics of this house, and like the more that you sort of explore it,
I'm having like a constant like beauty orgasm.
Yeah, there we go. We'll put it that way.
Because like that's how like I make sense of their Bane, because like it's just like it can sound really silly, like you're entranced by beauty, or like you feel very uncomfortable, like to your detriment if you're not in a like pretty environment or whatever. And it's like I'm like, okay, like how would she experience it? So it's like that debilitating, like almost nauseating, like I was experiencing like at the Crow Lady's house that time. And then for like the entrancement type of thing, it's like it's so beautiful it takes over you. It's like almost like you're having like it's like the food orgasm.
It's like a
right?
high.
Like
yeah,
you're like
it's opposite. It's opposite of that repulsed.
It's completely opposite.
It's like give me more, give me more.
Yeah.
Like you're excited by it.
Yeah.
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 And it like makes you kind of buzz. You're like, ooh.
Yeah. And like completely distracted, which
Yeah.
you know, it's what makes it dangerous.
Inconvenient.
Yeah.
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 In this setting, who cares, because you're safe.
Yeah,
but
it's
in
perfect.
in a situation where you might not be safe, it can work against you for sure. So yeah, so you're kind of been a little bit exploring the house, getting ready, doing kind of your thing as you just wait, because you don't really know, like you're like, I don't know how long it's gonna take.
Yeah.
But you've kind of sort of gotten lost in like everything you're doing, and you're not really
feel like
focusing.
Even if it's like that like it's just probably it's something that like she hasn't felt like any of this in like such a long time. Maybe like she experiences like pretty and like situations where she can get lost, probably with Ashley a lot. You know, where like she's enjoying that and like the environment, and like they both can get high on like beautiful things and whatever together, you know, and appreciate it and be, like share that experience. So I think like she'll probably be more like at ease, actually, especially now after like the great night before. Like I feel like whenever Adelaide like wakes up, she's like just kind of humming and singing, and like she's super like peppy and like just it's like she had like a good night of like sex. It's like the same thing, but it's all mental, you know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. I feel like it works. So yeah, it takes a little while. It probably takes, like you said, about an hour and a half ish. And Adelaide rises. She reawakens. And she does like hear you sort of in the bathroom, kind of like humming, singing, and whatever. And Duke, God, he's like flicking his tail around and shaking my chair. I think my hair was tickling his. Oh, did you see those murder eyes?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I touched you. I was trying to help you, buddy. I think my hair was like tickling his fur. Anyway, I got distracted. Okay. So you're kind of in your like element as you're kind of getting there, and you don't even sort of realize that she is there. And she is kind of like leaned against the doorway of the thing. You don't know how long she's been standing there because you've just kind of consumed in whatever you were doing at that particular moment. And she finally like speaks up, and she's like, well, good morning. And you kind of like hear her voice behind you, and you're like, oh, you're there. And you can see her now, like standing. I'm assuming you'd probably be in front of the mirror, and you can like see her, and you realize like, oh, hey.
Oh, hi. Good morning.
Yeah. See, you've settled in nicely.
Yeah, I love it here.
is there shit everywhere? Because that's what I'm picturing in my head. I'm just imagining like
I mean-
makeup and like clothes.
There's no
And
like
it's not
clothes.
messy. It's just
There's
like a
not,
lot
like,
of
clothes,
stuff.
But like definitely like the makeup is on the, and I just imagine like I've seen like a lot of, I love like interior design shit. So like these like very long counters with like
Mhm.
plenty of space. So like she probably set her like little makeup bags over there, you know,
Yeah.
and like yeah, there's probably like 2 outfits out, and like she picked a third one, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just
Yeah.
like imagining, the same, like there's kind of like a long either like stone or granite top type
Yeah,
of sink
granite,
with like big
like, yeah.
circle deep sinks, and there's like
Mhm,
two like the his and her kind of style, and like all the extra counter space is sort of just cluttered with her stuff, like makeup and brushes and this and that and hair products and just everything. Everything that was in the bags is now out of the bags on the countertop. Like she's lived there for a year. And so that's like sort of what I'm envisioning in my mind. As like
I was envisioning not as dramatic, you know. It's not that everything is out, but like definitely like she didn't have any problems like putting her stuff out.
Like
You
she,
know? You know
once
what I
she was
mean?
like in her element, she was in her element. She's like, I got this.
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
that kind of took over. That's
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's sort of like kind of looking at like she doesn't seem like bothered. She's just kind of amused of like you like when she says that, like you've seemed to kind of like you've seemed to settle in nicely, and she kind of like glances at like all of your shit everywhere.
Nyx looks around like she just realized
Yeah.
that.
Oh. Okay.
And she's gonna probably giggle awkwardly and be like, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I know I'm just not used to having other people here, but it's nice. It's fine.
Yeah, I had fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go get changed. And-
Yeah, I'm gonna clean up a little bit.
Okay.
Can I leave the makeup out just for tomorrow?
I don't. You can leave everything out. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, I'm just gonna put away the clothes. And then she gets up and she like folds everything neatly because like you don't want, you know, like wrinkles or anything. So like, you know, whatever, it's folded, and if not, she's gonna like hang the dress that she's gonna put later if they're gonna do something. You know, she's like kind of more cash right now.
Okay. She's organizing while Adelaide is getting ready. And I'm gonna no.
What?
I feel like I know what Adelaide would do, but I also kind of want to roll for it.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, so I'll roll for it, but I think I know how she would react. Okay, well, it confirmed it for me, I guess. So Adelaide, much to your surprise, like you are in the bathroom, like organizing shit, and there, like I said, there's like floor to ceiling, like one entire wall is just a massive mirror, and behind the mirror is like the shower and the big huge jacuzzi tub, and like you're kind of like organizing, you don't even like realize that she's there again, and next thing you know, she's like in the shower behind you, and you're just kind of like, oh, like this is happening, like, and she's just doing her thing and taking a shower like right there, and you're organizing all of your mess.
Yeah, trying not like be obvious that I'm like sneaky.
Yeah, that you're like looking at her in the mirror. So she kind of like takes her little shower, gets out and goes and gets dressed and whatever. Tuke, I need you to figure it out, buddy. Come on, get settled. Okay. So after a little while, she gets ready. You get all of your stuff sort of organized. And
Does Adelaide have any instruments in her house?
no, I don't think she would. She's not musically inclined. So she wouldn't have any type of instruments around, I don't think. Just like stereo. That's the instrument in her house, if you want to call it an instrument. What was I gonna say? Oh, so she after she gets ready, she sort of meets you wherever you have settled after you got done cleaning everything and organizing everything.
I guess there's like there's probably like an open plan with like a living room and a kitchen type of setting. So she's probably gonna be like, she probably found something to like do, like either read or like whatever. Like she wouldn't probably like turn on the TV or anything. She would probably be like either snooping around, not snooping around, but just like going around and looking more carefully to like everything that is out there, you know?
Excuse me. Yeah, so as you're doing that, as you're kind of exploring her kind of living room type space, you're starting to realize, and in the bedroom too, there was a couple of pieces, but in the living room area and lounge area, there's a lot more. You're starting to see things, they kind of look, the best way to describe it is like artifacts. They look like pieces you would see in a museum. And they're like displayed in different places. Some of them are on the wall. Some of them are in little cases here and there. As you're sort of like walking through, like on the mantle, there's all kinds of like, it's not your average decorations. You know what I mean? And they look really old and ancient. And like I said, something that maybe would belong in a museum. So those things are definitely catching your eye, and you're like, you know, very much entertained and like kind of walking around. It feels like you're in a museum, but you're in somebody's house.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that Adelaide does, is she collects artifacts and like trades them on the black market and stuff. So she has all kinds of cool little trinkets and weird things and magical shit and all kinds of shit like that. So you're kind of like walking around taking all of that in. And she will kind of walk back into the living room and notice that you're sort of looking at everything like in somewhat, I'm assuming you would still have that sort of like glow to you, because you're like, this is fucking cool.
No, this is like, super cool. Like I'm legit loving every moment there. Like, you guys are going to see Nyx coming back like a fucking firework. Like, she's going to, definitely be exuding complete and utter like light and happiness. Just like I that was the spa for my soul. Like, literally, if I have one, a kindred soul or whatever it is.
Yeah. So she comes into the living room, and once again, she seems to sneak up on you a lot. She's very like quiet. She's just like all of a sudden there. And
I mean, it's probably not hard because like Nyx is like going in between, like constantly entranced and like, you know, just in her own like little happy land at this point. So yeah, it would probably be even easier for somebody to sneak on her right now.
Yeah. She walks into the living room, and I'm just gonna say you're like looking at this particular like artifact, and I don't have anything actually prepared for this, so I'm just gonna say she, instead of walking through everything she says, she's gonna like explain like, oh, that's from like this date and like blah 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 blah, and like spats out like all of these like facts like explaining this like ancient artifact that you're staring at. And she's kind of like, she seems like she also likes these things, so she's like, I think it's cool too, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so then she's like, well, there's actually a place that I wanted to take you to tonight that if you like the stuff here, I think that you would definitely like the stuff there as well.
Yeah, I would love to go.
Okay. And she's just like, this is, she knows exactly like what Toreadors want and like and desire. It is very clear. And she's just like, she knows that she doesn't have to do a whole lot because you're just gonna be lost in the element.
Yeah,
and she's
no,
just,
literally, like, yeah.
she's just gonna be there existing.
Constantly like, oh, that is so hot.
Like, wow.
Like, exactly
I'm so
what I'm
impressed.
God.
So you guys leave her apartment. When you step outside of the door, the big guy, he's there. And it's kind of like, oh. And she's like,
hi.
She's like, good morning, Fred. And he's like, good morning. And he like nods his head to you, like, yes, I've been here for hours, waiting. And he's like her driver. He's always with her. So like everywhere she goes and everything that she does, he's like right there with her. So you guys kind of go down to the parking garage and get in her car, and he takes you. And you guys head over to the Portland Art Museum, which is closed at this time of night, obviously, but clearly not closed for Adelaide. So,
Obviously.
Yeah. She knows somebody that knows somebody or whatever. And you guys basically have this entire museum to yourself. And you can just kind of go around and look at everything. And it's cool because you've probably, I mean, I'm sure Nyx in her lifetime at some point has probably been in a museum. But it's never been like this. Like, it feels really intimate and, like, special because it's closed and you're, like, the only ones there. You know what I mean? And there's not, like, the hustle and bustle of, like, everybody else around you. And it is a lot quieter, and you can kind of enjoy the atmosphere in a way that you can't when there's a bunch of people around.
Yeah, obviously. I don't think Nyx ever had the opportunity to do that, so
yeah.
I feel like she, like, a very Nyx thing, like, whenever they get there, she knows what it is, obviously. Like, it's always obvious. There's always, like, things and posters and whatever, what the exposition is, you know, and whatnot. So it's clear when you get close, you're like, whenever they step inside, Nyx is going to do the Nyx thing where, like, she's just gonna grab her hands if Adelaide lets her, obviously, but she's gonna grab her hands and just be like, you're fucking amazing, and then she's just gonna like hug her and probably try to make out with her, I guess, at that point.
I mean, she doesn't have to try to do those things very hard,
that is
but
what I'm saying.
Adelaide isn't opposed to any of those things happening.
Yeah,
so
it would probably happen.
It would be a moment
at that point. Yeah.
I can. That's understandable.
Yeah.
So you guys have your moment and then go into this museum, and it is a beautiful museum. Like, this is an actual museum that exists. So if you want to know what you're experiencing, you can go look it up. But it's a very beautiful museum, and it's actually the oldest museum in the Pacific West or Northwest.
Oh.
So it's really old. And a lot of the work in there is like old shit. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, museums usually have old shit, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah.
There are modern museums that are different vibes, but this one is like a mix of everything. There's modern stuff to it, but there's a lot of like old ancient artifacts, and it is there's art, so there's all sorts of paintings and all kinds of shit. as you guys are sort of like walking through, and she's like spatting off some facts about the place and things, and like even some of like the things that you guys stop and look at. You can very much tell that she loves like history and like learning about things, so she like is very knowledgeable in that regard, and when it comes to like artifacts and artwork and history and things like that, she knows a lot. So she's like, it's kind of like she's your tour guide.
Yeah.
You know what I
love
mean?
that.
So it's like she's like an unofficial tour guide in this museum. And it's probably not the first time that she's been there. And she takes you into this one room, and she's like, I think that you might like this section. And you guys kind of like walk in, and it's all like really old ancient jewelry. And it's really beautiful. Like a lot of the jewelry is like jewelry that like queens from all these different countries would wear, or different royal families and things like that have like been preserved over time and whatever. So she's just kind of like showing them to you as you take it around, and it is beautiful. Like if you look at a lot of old jewelry, it is very beautiful. And one thing, you would have noticed this by now because she wears it. She actually wears a really old, beautiful piece of jewelry herself. It is a, I can show a picture. I have a picture of it because I made it whenever I made my character sheet for her. It's one of her touchstones. It is her touchstone, I guess I should say. 'Cause she only has one. Which is kind of cool because you can make touchstones objects, which I didn't know that. Oh, I can't do it like that. Anyway, I will show you guys later. It's a really beautiful sapphire necklace. Like an old school sapphire. I'll just post it real quick. Chat's gonna look weird stream's gonna look weird for a second, you guys. It'll be okay, I promise. Okay, there you go. It's in the chat now. Or in the Discord. So that's the necklace that she's always wearing it. So you would have probably seen it by now. I'm assuming. And so you can tell that she sort of, jewelry is kind of her thing. She really likes jewelry and like old jewelry. And this stuff in this room is all that kind of stuff. It looks like it's from a different time period. You know what I mean? But yeah, so you guys are kind of like in this room, and she's sort of just like kind of like standing back and like letting you kind of take it all in and look at all of these amazing pieces and stuff that are scattered about.
Yeah, I'm just gonna probably, I mean, anything jewelry, even just like clothing, like that's obviously like something that like Nyx loves. So she's probably going to be mesmerized by it. And I feel like she would probably just like be kind of dragging Adelaide around, like hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like kind of like, come over here, I want to see this.
Look at
like,
this one. Yeah.
And then having Adelaide like explain maybe like the story behind the piece or whatever. I think like she would, like, as they exchange like the history and whatever, she would probably ask, like she would probably look at Adelaide and be like, yours looks like a vintage piece too.
Vintage, yes. I guess you could say I'm vintage, and she like makes a joke because
timeless vintage.
Yeah, this was my mother's.
Oh. How long ago was that?
Long ago, early 1900s. I guess that is true. You don't know how old Adelaide is.
No. How? It's the same, or around the same time that Ashley got embraced too, right?
Yeah, they're about the same age, roughly.
Yeah.
Ashley's a little bit older than her, but yeah, same.
Yeah.
I think it's like within like 10 or 15 years or something. I can't remember. But yeah, roughly the same.
Yeah. Ashley is also, I think, same
vintage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
You can tell she
Vintage,
like she
yeah.
like doesn't know what to do with that. So she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm old.
I don't care. If you don't care, I don't care.
I mean,
It's fine.
I don't care. Time is irrelevant at this point in my life.
Yeah, I've been noticing that.
Yeah. When you
Different.
live to be a certain age, time doesn't really, you don't measure things in time anymore. Sparta, your
I don't know.
parents.
She would just like be like, take a moment, think about it, and then like just keep going around the room and chit chatting like about whatever is in there.
Yeah, looking at all of the cool jewelry,
Yeah.
learning some shit from Adelaide
Yeah.
because she knows a lot. Especially like in this particular room, she like definitely knows a lot. Like she knows a lot about each piece and like where it came from, and you sort of can see that like as you're realizing it, like you're like, tell me more, and then she's like really settling into that and like even kind of getting excited herself because this is something that she's like passionate about. She's passionate about artifacts and history and things, so she's sort of in her element too. So it's like you both are like matching each other on like energy levels at this point once you like kind of get into this room. So yeah, you guys are chilling in this super cool museum, living your best life. We're going to transition over to the boys and see if they're living their best life.
We'll see. Definitely not this life. Sorry.
I don't
Definitely
think
not.
I don't think they're quite on the
Sorry,
next
boy.
level, but that's okay. Maybe next week will be your time to shine in that regard. So, I'll have both of you go ahead and roll for hunger. We'll start with that.
Fail.
Okay.
So I'm
Success.
hungry.
Alrighty. So you guys wake up, do your normal things, get, I'm assuming, I said that Sparta fell asleep at the house. You don't have to really actually do that. I was just being cheeky. But,
He would have slept on the couch. He
Okay.
would be there.
So you guys kind of wake up at the same house and do your thing, get ready, and take off to go to the Elysium and pick up his eye drops. You pick those up, and you're ready to go investigate this address that you got from Scarlett. So you head on there, and you're sort of parked outside. This particular area is... where do I want this to be? I'm going to put this in the Malkavian area because we don't ever do shit there.
True.
It's really quiet in that area. So it's in the sort of Malkavian territory, which isn't a place that either of you are really familiar with, to be honest. Not a lot of stuff goes down there, so there's usually no reason to kind of venture into that domain. And when you pull up to it, there's kind of like a kind of small little shopping strip. That's the word. And a couple of the businesses kind of look run down, like maybe they are closed. And the address, when you kind of are looking at the building and matching the address that it is for the business that's sort of like smack dab in the middle of this strange abandoned shopping center thingy, Bobby. And it's for a butcher shop. So you can see that it is a butcher shop of some sort. It's like Carl's Butchery. Get the best pork in town.
Sparta looks at Alejandro and says, well, that's not foreboding at all.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
But it definitely
How do you want to handle this?
looks semi-abandoned. Like, you're not really sure if the butcher shop itself is abandoned, like if all of these are abandoned. Like some of them do look a little bit rougher and they're kind of boarded up and you can tell they're not open. But the butcher shop, you can't really tell if it is like a running, operating shop during the day. But as of right now, there's no one around, you know, obviously, because it's the middle of the night.
Well, how do you want to handle this? It doesn't look like anybody's around, and anybody inside there is likely not friendly.
Either not friendly or dead. Cause that's a butcher shop. Butcher shops have big ass fucking knives. And with what Scarlett said, if he got tortured in here, yeah. I hope you're ready for this shit. I mean, on the plus
Should we
side,
do
we're
our
dealing with
usual?
people.
You go in the front, I go in the back.
Is there even a back?
I mean, there should be. Most businesses usually have a back entrance. Take out trash and shit.
Sorry. I'm gonna mute myself. Oh.
How is the building? Are they? Is there? Would there be a?
Yes, there's a back entrance. There's a back door. Slide on right into that back entrance.
You know, I like going through the back door.
Oh, I'm crying. I'm a 12-year-old boy.
All right. You know what? Look, I think doing that now it's going to be a problem because we're going to be one-on-one on both situations. Like, no matter where we go in.
I mean, at the end of the day, they are humans.
Yeah, they're easy targets and easy to shoot. But then again, there's something you're not thinking about.
What's
This place
that?
could be rigged.
These assholes do like to use bombs.
Yeah. And that's
Still,
where I'm kind of worried about it.
Either way, we have to get in, so we're gonna have to risk it. If anything, I would think the back door will likely be most rigged, and you know I can take a hit. So why don't I go through the back, you go through the front. You guys.
I'm listening. Go ahead. You're going through the back and he's going through the front. Okay. You guys enter the building. Oh. I'm sweating. Okay. I have to hide chat because you guys are...
Right? You guys are killing
You're being
me
bad.
here with that.
Okay. I'm good, guys. I'm good. Okay. So, Sparta's going through the back door, correct? You're going through the front door. Okay. So, you get up to the door. I'm assuming, do both of you sort of investigate the door before you open it?
Out the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sparta's also going to activate toughness and resilience.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your rouse checks for that.
Success. And then, yeah, he's going to investigate the door to see if he can, he's not going to just open it and try to get it himself blown up.
Okay, so we'll start with you. Go ahead and roll a wits and investigation. Well, both of you are going to roll this, so you can get your roll ready as well, Alejandro. We'll start with Sparta.
Oh, come on. One success.
Oh. Rip.
6.
Damn. Okay, so, Sparta, you're kind of like looking around. You're trying to see anything that looks out of the ordinary. You think you're okay. You feel confident. And Alejandro, you definitely don't see anything. You're 100% sure. But Sparta, you're just kind of like feeling confident. You're like, yeah, sure, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. And both simultaneously, you guys open the doors and head inside, and nothing explodes, so you don't need to worry. Surprisingly, the doors are unlocked, which you would think that this is a business after all, that a business would be kind of like locked up. So you're kind of gathering that at this point that maybe, it is an abandoned business. Because both of the doors open right up. And when the doors open, an awful, foul smell hits your faces. And it smells like death. Literally.
Sparta's going to start, like, looking through. He's going to try to follow the scent.
Mm-hmm.
And find where it's coming from. Stealthily.
Okay.
Alejandro is already saying fuck.
Alejandro, you, from your time as a detective, you very much know what this smell is. So you're kind of both one, because you're sort of in the front of the shop, but you've kind of entered into like the back of the working area, and there's like a big like kind of kitchen area. There's like some sinks, and you can tell these are like the tables where they would have like chopped up the meat. And don't look at me, Finn. I'm gonna get into a fit again. Okay. And there's like coolers and stuff on the sides and whatever. You're not necessarily seeing anything in this particular moment. It just looks like you're kind of in the back of the place. But you smell the smell, and it's really strong for you. Alejandro, you're up front, and you smell it, obviously, because it is very potent, but it's not quite as strong. But as you sort of make your way toward the back, it is getting stronger the more that you make your way in further into the business. What are you guys looking for? What you doing? You just walking around smelling nasty at this point.
Well, Sparta's trying to find where the smell is originating from, but he's also like trying to like be aware of everything around him, trying to hear if he hears any noises, like if there's anybody there.
Okay, go ahead and roll wits and awareness.
What?
Go ahead.
Alejandro's gonna be looking for security cameras and see if there's any active security cameras in that building.
You're not seeing anything that would resemble any type of security camera. It's kind of a small little country town place. They probably didn't have security cameras.
5 successes.
Nice. It's much better. So as your senses are kind of really kicking in, especially, you're a little bit of a heightened sense when it comes to smell, you're able to sort of figure out and pinpoint where this smell is coming from. And it appears to be coming from one of the big, huge, large, like walk-in coolers.
And do I like detect any like sounds of people that might be there?
No, you're not. Like that? You're other than like maybe him like looking around in the front, like you can kind of hear his footsteps and stuff. But no, you're not like picking up on any other like voices or movement or anything like that within the place.
Sparta's going to open up the walk-in and look in to see if he sees anything.
Okay. So as soon as you open the walk-in, the smell is overwhelming. Like, if you were a human, you probably would throw up. That's, like, how bad it is. It's, like, just absolutely appalling. Just the stench that's released from this room or this cooler. Because the cooler isn't running. It's not, like, working. You know what I mean? It's everything in here, the power for this building doesn't seem to be on or working in any way. So you open this cooler door, and directly in the center of the cooler, you see a man fully nude. He has his arms tied around his back, like, and his legs are kind of tied around the legs of the chair. And he is covered in blood. There is literally blood all over him. There's blood all over That's another thing that you can smell sort of now, especially mixed in with that nasty kind of rotten smell. You can smell blood. And he's, like, sitting there, like, eyes open. You can just kind of tell you wouldn't personally have a lot of experience around dead bodies, but you can definitely tell that this guy is deceased. Like, he's not alive. His body's, like, a little bit swollen, and kind of that thing that starts to happen to you when your body's, like, decaying. And it is. Do you go in, or are you observing? Because I'm trying to gauge, like, how, because it is a little bit dark in here, unless you have Eyes of the Beast activated, or you activate Eyes of the Beast.
Yes, I'm gonna activate Eyes of the Beast, and I am gonna walk into the cooler.
Okay, that's fair. So especially with the aid of Eyes of the Beast and walking in closer to get a better look, you can start to make out more in detail of, like, what exactly is going on here. And you're kind of looking at this guy's body, and he seems like he definitely was tortured. And there's all sorts of wounds all over his body, and you're not really sure how long he has been there or was there being tortured. But he definitely kind of was put through the ringer. And the closer you get, you begin to sort of see, you actually would see it immediately when you activate Eyes the Beast. On his chest, there is a carving of the symbol of the purist that has been carved into his chest. And you can see there's a wound, there's blood everywhere from it, but it's very clear. Like, you can see the circle and the 3 crosses that sort of have been carved into his chest.
Do I recognize the person?
No. You don't know who. Oh, wait, you know Blake. That's right. You do. I forgot. Sorry. You do know who Blake is. We're getting that weird feedback from you again, Mimsy. Yeah, sorry. You do recognize. It takes a second because he's bloodied, he's bruised, like, his face is all swollen and gross and things like that. You know what I mean? But you're kind of picking up the features of Blake. And another thing that you're going to see in addition to the thing on his chest is around his neck. It looks like maybe a piece of rope, and there is a note attached to it.
Sparta's going to give a whistle and say, Alejandro, back here. Or kind of shout it so he can hear him.
So Alejandro's gonna make his way. And since it's dark, he's gonna actually try to see if there's any light switches.
You try a couple of the light switches and quickly realize that the power to this building doesn't seem to be working, so none of them actually turn on.
Give me a second, Sparta. Just gonna put the eye drops on. Well,
This is Blake.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently, they wanted us to find him, and Sparta's gonna grab the note off of the rope and read it.
Scribbled in handwriting that's a little bit hard to read. It's like serial killer handwriting. It says for Colette.
Well, looks like they were trying to send a message. And he'll hand the note to Alejandro.
Well, I mean, let's get this shit analyzed so we know exactly who it is. Because humans leave fingerprints. We don't.
True. I can contact Robbie. He might be able to do something with that, but maybe we should take a look around, see if we can find anything. Where they might have gone or somewhere.
I mean, we can check out the room, but I think we gotta inform Colette, but Colette needs to stay out of here. Because the fact that they're targeting, the fact that this card has her name on it.
Well, we already know they have a profile on Colette as well.
I see.
Yeah, why don't we take a look around, see if we find anything, and then we'll call Colette, see what she wants us to do. We can have her come and send her people in to clean up. So Sparta's gonna walk out of the cooler and try to investigate the rest of the building, see if he can find anything.
Okay. You can go ahead and do a wits and investigation. Bibsy! Oh my god.
My ears. Ouch.
I don't know what is that?
I don't have anything on. It literally cannot be me.
It is, because you're the only one that lights up when it happens. I don't know what it is, but there's something creating a electrical kind of feedback.
It sounds like the old times when like the phone,
Your
if you
cell
had the
phone?
phone.
It reacts on the
that's
mixer.
what it is.
It's gotta be reacting on the mixer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna investigate the room as well.
Okay. You can do a wits and investigation as well.
4 successes.
Five successes.
Okay, so both of you guys are you guys looking around the cooler or the whole place? Or both?
Sparta's investigating the whole place. He's just walking
Okay.
through and investigating.
Okay. Cooler.
Okay. So as you guys are sort of walking around, neither one of you really pick up on anything. Even like as you go into the rest of the business, like it's all clean. It seems like everything that they did, if they did bring people and torture them, then it was like isolated to probably these coolers. There are a couple of other coolers, and you kind of like open them and peek inside, and you can see that they're grungier and dirtier, and there's old blood and stuff inside them. So you do see that, Sparta, as you're looking around in the other ones. Go ahead, Mimsy.
Alejandro is gonna investigate the body. He's actually curious about if he can see that injection point. He wants to see if Blake was involved with them at all.
Okay. I mean, if you're looking for that specifically, there's no indication that he was that a tracker was put into him.
All right.
He just was very badly beaten and tortured, and with all different types of, as you're kind of like looking over his body, you can tell that they use all different types of weapons and instruments and things. There's blunt trauma. You can just tell kind of by the bruising, especially with your experience. You can see there's blunt trauma. He's been stabbed. He's been cut. Like, he's just beat to living shit.
Is there any weapons or any other weapons used around?
No, there's no, like, any weapons or instruments of any kind in the room or anywhere in the building. If you were to go and look further. Just empty and abandoned except for this dead body in here.
Yeah, once Sparta doesn't find anything, he'll meet back up with Alejandro and say, yeah, I didn't find anything. We should contact Colette, see what she wants us to do.
Yeah. I'll, do you want to call her or should I?
I'll call her. Sparta will take out his phone and call Colette.
Don't say Kaka this time, because she's going to fucking punch you in the dick.
Sparta's going to chuckle at that.
She answers the phone and says, "Make it quick, I'm busy."
We found Robbie. We found Blake. He is dead at this location. Looks like they did a number on him.
Okay.
We haven't found anything else, but
It
doesn't look like we have any other leads. But it was definitely the Purists. He has their symbol carved into his chest.
Alrighty. Where are you at?
He gives her the address.
Alright. See you in a minute. She hangs up.
All right, she's on her way.
So, go ahead.
Grabbing these guys is going to make it so much easier to have a little bit of fun with them.
Sorry, what was that, Memsy? You kind of cut out for me.
Grabbing these guys is going to make it so much more fun to interrogate them.
I mean, they're definitely assholes. I wouldn't mind to get my hands on them as well.
To make it easier, I can tell you that much. But
Very true.
we need them alive.
Do we, though?
Yeah, we do. Well, for a while at least, until we get the information that we need.
Maybe we only kill a couple of them.
After they're giving us answers.
Fine. Let's go wait out front for Colette.
So it takes about 10 minutes or so, and a few SUVs pull up into this area. And you can tell that, like, a couple of them kind of set up a little bit of a perimeter, and Colette hops out of her car. And she's like, "Is this the place?" And she, like, points to the little butcher shop.
Yeah, he's in the cooler in the back.
She just kind of pushes past
There was a
you.
direct message to you.
And she stops. And she's like, "Excuse me?"
Alejandro's gonna give her the card. This was on his body. It was directed to you.
She's going to look at it and then look at Sparta and say, "You didn't think this was important to tell me before I showed up here?" And then without even giving you a chance to answer, she's going to look at one of, like, one of her ghouls closest to her and say, "Lock this place down." And they, like, immediately go into, like, SWAT mode almost. And they all, like, they're going in the other buildings, like, because the other buildings might be booby trapped. Like, this building might not be booby trapped, but you guys haven't checked the other ones. So they go into sort of SWAT mode, and she gets back in her car, and she doesn't say anything else to you guys. And she just sort of sits in her car, and you can kind of, like, see her. She is on the phone with somebody. And this goes on for a good few minutes while they're sort of, like, securing everything, double checking, triple checking, going into all of the other buildings that are attached to this building. After probably about 5 minutes or so, one of the guys like comes over and taps on the window and kind of like gives her like a signal, like, okay, it seems to be okay. Once she is given that symbol or signal, she gets out of her car again. She sort of kind of like gives you another side eye of like, wow, not
and Sparta
impressed.
looks sheepish. He looks sheepish as hell. He's like, oh, fuck.
Fuck up.
And
He knows he fucked up.
she's gonna then
Huh?
go
Wait.
into the building and start kind of investigating and for herself and go into where this dude is and everything. So she spends like a few minutes in there. Do either of you follow her in, or you just let her go in?
Sparta's gonna follow her as she goes in.
Okay.
I'm
She's
just gonna wait outside.
he's like, I've been in this situation. I'm gonna wait out here.
I already investigated.
Exactly, yeah. So she kind of like spends a few minutes. There's not a whole lot to see in here. She identifies that it is him, and confirms that and whatever. And you can tell there's kind of like a solemn look on her face. It's like a mix of like she feels sorry that like Blake had to experience this, because obviously Colette is a little bit more in touch with her human side than a lot of kindred. So she realized like this guy was a human and he got hurt because of me, like, so that kind of like weighs on her a little bit. You can kind of like see it in her face and in her expression, but she's also angry because of that. It's doing both to her. Like she is feeling that sadness because Blake was put in this position because of her, but she's also feeling that anger of like, you used this person because of me and how dare you, kind of thing. So you're kind of like seeing that emotion kind of washed over her as she's investigating this, and she's gonna get up after she's kind of done looking at everything, and she's gonna walk over toward you, and a couple of her guys have followed her in just for like safety reasons. She kind of like looks them in and is like, why don't you guys get him taken care of, notify his family, all that kind of stuff. And they immediately, like, you can tell Colette's got her team like on lock and key. Like she says one thing to them and they get the job done. They are immediately sort of in action, getting him ready to get him out of here and take care of business. She kind of looks over to you, Sparta, and she's gonna say, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation.
I understand. I should have said it before.
Details like that are important. If this was an attempt to lure me here in some way, then I would have basically been dropped right into their lap with no preparation or expectation of that. So, in the future, don't look over details like that.
I'll make sure I do better next time.
And you can tell like she's disappointed, but she also is like, she knows that this isn't necessarily, you haven't been doing this for a long time. You know what I mean? Like you're still learning. And she's just kind of like, you could have put me in a really bad situation and I could have gotten hurt, or other people could have gotten hurt, and so
Sparta, she can tell Sparta looks contrite and like he knows like this, I fucked up.
Yeah, and that's why she doesn't really go in on him too hard, because she's like, you know what you did, and I don't need to like make it worse and make you feel like shit. She already knows by the look on your face that this isn't gonna ever happen again, something like this, because that's also her experience with you. You know what I mean? Like you very much in the past have learned from your mistakes, and when you've done something and fucked up, you've learned from it and not done it in the future. So she knows that about you, so she doesn't go too hard on you. She's just kind of like, Okay, like don't do that shit again because I like living. And I don't want to die. So she after you guys kind of have that little exchange, the guys are like getting Blake prepared to leave and everything. She kind of looks back at you and she's like, "Well, these people are ballsy."
Yes, they are, and I am getting sick and tired of them.
Because, I mean, it seems like they have some kind of idea of what we are. So the fact that they're willing to throw out personalized threats like this is very intriguing. I don't understand them. I've never dealt with humans that have this much tenacity. It's quite interesting, to be honest.
And unfortunately, them grabbing Blake, I know they had a profile on you, but that was when you were part of this coterie. They likely now know that you are an important member of this city.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. Well, I mean, good work. Scarlett is the one who gave you this location?
Yes, apparently she had met him a couple of times about when he went missing.
Okay.
And she said this was the location that the purists bring their victims to question.
Okay. Interesting. Well, the Scarlet individual is seeming to be more and more of an asset the more we get to know her. So I'm kind of happy that we're able to snag her up. It's been very fruitful having her around.
It was definitely a good find.
Yeah, so I definitely think we'll be keeping her around for a lot longer. But good work nonetheless. And although it is annoying to keep finding somewhat of dead ends like this, it is at least nice to get more information. And this communicates to me that they very much want some type of war with us, whatever that means. And it's beginning to get a little bit personal.
I agree. As ballsy as they are, I think they are biting off more than they can chew.
Yeah,
which leads me to think that they're not very reasonable.
I don't know. I think the only sort of conclusion I can come to is that maybe they have some sort of weapon that they've put so much confidence in that they've grown cocky in their abilities to defeat us or challenge us. So I'm interested to find out more about how they operate and who may be feeding information to them, because it does seem that they have information from someone. Or I'm not really sure how they're learning these things about us, how they're learning our weaknesses, like such as our weakness to fire. It's interesting.
I hate to say it, but I agree. Unfortunately, there has to be some sort of insider helping them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. Well, anyway,
Alejandro is gonna step in and say, so history repeats itself.
I don't think there's an insider specifically to New Orleans. I think there's just a kindred.
Yeah. They're based out of LA.
Working with them.
They could have easily gotten somebody out there.
Yeah. I don't think this is specific to us. I've got other shit to do, so I'm going to get out of here. These guys will kind of clean this place up. And she's gonna take out, she's very much like she seems like an actual detective, like how you would expect like a detective to be in real life. And she kind of like takes out this little notepad from somewhere and scribbles a note on the paper and tears it out. And the guys have already like kind of picked up Blake's body and taken him away. And she's gonna lay the note on the chair. Do either of you look at it? You would have to get closer to kind of read the note if you're curious to see what the note says.
Alejandro sits with a feeling of that's gonna be a fuck you to them, so he's not gonna even bother reading it.
Sparta is like right next to Colette,
Yeah.
so would he be able to see it if she sets it down?
Yeah, I feel like if you're still standing like that original space and you haven't like moved away at all, you would see it when she kind of lays it down on the chair. And it just says received. And she's like, yeah, message received. I got it. Like, it's on kind of thing. And she just sets the note down there and she's like, all right, well, I gotta get out of here. And it smells like ass, so definitely gonna have to like shower 3 times and change my clothes before I go home because I'll never get the fucking into it.
And Sparta's gonna say, this scent, I'm never gonna be able to get it out of my clothes. This suit is ruined.
Yeah, you might as well just throw them away. This is the part of this job I don't miss. And she kind of like looks at Alejandro because being a detective, especially because she was a homicide detective, so that's what she used to do, go and investigate dead bodies and crime scenes and shit. So she's like, I don't miss this stuff. I don't miss the smell of rotting corpse. Ugh. So anyway, she's gonna take off. All of her crew leaves with her. Now you guys are sort of standing there alone. And this strange abandoned shopping strip.
Sparta's gonna look at Alejandro and say, well, it looks like we don't have anything else to do.
I mean,
you want to go party? No.
Where?
Dude, you haven't been to Nix's club yet. Let's go there.
Nah, I think I want to stick to the bar, dude. Because I'm a little bit hungry. I'm a bar guy. I thought after all these years you would realize that. Yeah, fair enough, I just came back, but...
Fuck it, let's go see Aubrey. Maybe she'll let me drive her car.
You're more than likely
every day.
Fucking punched
Maybe she'll
by
let me drive
everyone.
her car.
It was a sweet ride, man. It's worth a shot. But first, I need to change out of this because I can already smell the death on it. And he's gonna start changing in the parking lot into his suit as he pulls it out of the back of the SUV.
Nice. All right, so you guys are heading to Scarlett's, right? That's what you've settled on?
Aubrey's, yeah.
Okay.
No, Aubrey's.
I mean, not, yeah, sorry. There's too many things to keep track of. Yes, you're heading to Aubrey's. Okay. Well, you guys head there and hang out for the rest of the night and go home and do whatever it is you're doing. And we're actually gonna finish the next stream because this took a lot longer than I expected it to take. So we will pick up on the last day of this adventure on the next stream. So you guys have some more stuff to look forward to. Which the next day will probably be a little bit shorter because I think that's probably the day that Nyx would go home. So she'll be like coming home that day. And then you guys will all be kind of reunited. And then she can tell you all about Adelaide and then be like, oh my god. And they'd be like, yeah, we found a dead body. And she'd be like,
Sparta's gonna be like, so tell me about Adelaide. Who is she? How was it?
Tell me all the deets. But yeah, we'll pick up with all of that good stuff next time. Lots of mystery around the way she operates. Gotcha. Okay, I could see it. I could see how she might be a little sus. I don't think she's sus for
like she's
Nyx.
more mysterious.
Yeah, I
than
feel
like anything. Like I feel
Yeah.
like she's a very reserved kindred.
she's
So,
very
like-
calculated.
Yeah, yeah. But it makes sense.
But she's
I mean,
old.
You gotta. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense for who she is.
Mm.
She, it's very much how she is. Very calculated and, thoughtful. Everything she does has a purpose and a reason for something along the line. And it's usually something that will benefit her along the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is stuff that we can talk about during our podcast. So you guys should come and hang out with us on Monday. And we can dive into all of those theories and more details and things like that. You can also check us out on all of our private channels where we're going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff when we do cool stuff on those channels. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Oh wow, look at the timing of that. You so totally rock. Let's find somebody to share the love with real quick.
I think Devil's Luck is streaming right now.
True, they
Good,
are.
some love back to them.
Yeah. They're doing their
Dungeons and
Yeah,
Dragons.
D&D stuff.
And Pirates.
So yeah, we'll send you guys over there. You can say hello to them. They've shown the love to us several times. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and they're amazing. Like
Yeah.
they're cosplay guys. Like it looks so fucking cool.
Next level.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I hope that you enjoyed the stories for tonight. And we'll see you guys on Monday for the podcast. See you guys
Bye,
then.
everybody.
Bye.
Love ya.
Adios.